Okay, we should be live. What's good, Relocation Football League fans? It's your boy Smitty here with Bill. As always, we did make an announcement about Rob jumping on with us, but unfortunately, he had to handle some business, and so he won't be able to get on this podcast with us. Hopefully, he'll be on the next one if possible. But yeah, same show as usual here with me, Bill Nye, the RFL guy, and ready to get into business, man. So
yeah, I might have to change that. Bill the Bully after last fall.
Bill the Bully. That kind of suits. I kind of like that name. Bill Nye is kind of getting dried out already. But we'll start out with the first game that we kicked off Week 13 with, and that was the San Antonio Dreadnoughts versus the Orlando Sentinels. And man, was this a good game, man. Really enjoyed this game throughout. The Dreadnoughts showed that, hey, they may have had not the strongest of schedules, but they were able to put in some good work and put up over 30 points against the Celtic Tigers, and they put up over 30 points again here on the road in Orlando to defeat the Sentinels and Coach Armstrong 34-31.
Yeah, that's a great game, and man, what Kirby Britt, I think his first name is. I should probably get the name, but man, that was an impressive run. And then Cam Jones today, he was impressive in this game. Just one of the more entertaining games this weekend, and both teams played well, and it was two great teams going at each other, and the Dreadnoughts pulled it out in the OT. It was just a great game to watch, and yeah, I mean Dreadnoughts might, like you said, they might have had not a great schedule when it comes to strength earlier, but they're showing they stick with these teams, and this one showed that.
Yeah, this game, I mean, literally came down to the wire. Went into overtime. At first, it seems like, well, the way it started out in overtime, the Dreadnoughts got the football. They couldn't do anything with it. The Sentinels ended up getting the football. I think what happened, the Dreadnoughts missed the kick that could have, put them up by 3 for the defense to stand. Gave the Sentinels good field position, and 2 plays later, Wilkins throws an interception. Not necessarily his fault. It's just a great defensive play that was made by Roosevelt Mixon, batting the ball into the air. And I thought it was a big day from the Dreadnoughts, a star defensive player, man, coming up, Antonio Kellum, the linebacker, as he had 2 huge plays in that one. He had a fumble for a touchdown that he recovered on special teams, and then he had that interception that pretty much set up the Dreadnoughts to win that game. And then they ended up kicking a field goal off that turnover and winning it, man. It was a great game. Matt Jones did a really good job, as usual. I mean, his percentage wasn't really up there like that, but I mean, he still did a great job against a very good defense in Orlando. And like you said, Kirby Britt, man, he is definitely turning into a back that's going to be possibly a star in the future, man. And he got picked up out of free agency by Coach Frankie. And ever since he's touched the field, every time he touches the ball, it just seems like a big play is bound to happen. I mean, literally, he came in and had that long, incredible touchdown run, which, if you guys watch the top 35 plays of the week, was number 1 with that run. He literally, on his first carry after Gilliam got injured, had that run. And I mean, just a great performance by both teams. Neither team deserved to lose, but one had to. And Coach Frankie J and the Dreadnoughts, they come out on top, now 10-2, as the Sentinels come into Week 14, 8-4. The game that followed that, though, was this the game that followed it? I think it was the Gunners and Shamrocks, right? Yeah, the Gunners and Shamrocks.
Yeah,
I kind of blanked on that for a second, but the Gunners and Shamrocks was the next game, and this was another overtime game. He had 2 back-to-back overtime games. This one kind of started out slow, but the Gunners, once again, falling victim to another loss, and the Shamrocks starting to get hot as they win this one 23-20.
It seems like we have quite a bit of great games that happened this past week, and this was one. Jack Wilson were both fun to watch. They were both running. They were both throwing well. Another OT game. They're on a roll now. I know they had some injury. I think they lost Gadsden this week, but it's if Wilson can keep playing that way, they're going to win. I don't know if it'll be enough for the playoffs, but I mean, we'll see when fall in Week 17. They keep this up, though, at least they give themselves a chance.
Yeah, and the Shamrocks, like I said, man, a hot team. Definitely have been in a good streak of wins here as of late. Jabri Jackson, as always, week in, week out, continues to try to get his team a victory, and he did a great job passing the football. Well, not too much of a great job. Well, he did okay. He did his job as a dual threat quarterback. That's what he did. He didn't pass for over 200 yards passing as a quarterback, but he had 2 touchdowns passing, no interceptions, so there was no turnovers at all on his behalf, and he ran for 95 yards on the ground as well. So that was a very productive day by Jackson, but yet again, the struggles continue. But they only ran Ronnie Nickens 10 times in that game. He had a good average of 5 yards per carry with 50 yards. But it's just the same scenario that it's been throughout the franchise history of the Gunners. The receivers just not able to step up. They had Bridges become their leading receiver with 3 receptions for 66 yards. They had the 1 touchdown, and it just, it just continued to struggle in that area with their receivers to get open to help out Jabri Jackson, which forces him to have to use his legs more so than not. And it's just a good dual threat package going on around there in Dublin. As they had the home field advantage. Tom Wilson continuing to kill it as a dual threat quarterback, and he had 149 rushing yards on the game. Man, he just had an incredible game yet again. I mean, Wilson is. I mean, we've seen him starting to develop into. You know what? I may not be able to be the most accurate quarterback, but I will definitely rip up a defense with my legs. I got a great running back now, and Lester Gadsden and his receivers are stepping up. As you can see, Nicholas Andrews with 10 catches for 94 yards and a touchdown to lead the offense in receiving yards. And you can see the streak. I mean, 4 out of 5 games that they've won were RFL games, so they're technically on a 5-game winning streak right now. But the Shamrocks really hot. Great victory here over the division opponent. And 8-4. And the Gunners, big shock, man. Can't believe they're 5-7 right now, but I know Coach is going to try to figure out what he could do to get that team back on track. Next game following this one was another big game. Upset, you can call it, record-wise, but it wasn't necessarily an upset. A lot of people were saying they wouldn't consider it an upset because of how talented the Diablos were, as they were able to take down, at the time, the 9-2 Steamers, and they were able to win it by 17 points. Final score ended up being 27-10.
Yeah, this was a big game for the Diablos. More of a, at this point in the season, it's more of a for pride and for personal things, a personal win. But they forced turnovers, and they just never let the Steamers find their groove on offense. And if you take the Steamers out of their groove on offense, they're going to have a tough time sticking with a team like the Diablos. The Diablos are a very, very solid team, like you said. They might be 6-6, but this team is, I believe they are tied for first or second place in the NFC, and I know they're up there in the AFC for team overall. They just haven't put the pieces together, but they are, on any given week, I just said this to somebody the other day, this team can be the Monarchs one week, and the next week they play like the Celtic Tigers. It all depends on which team you get, and this week the Steamers unfortunately just got the better part of the Diablos.
Yeah, it was just a great win, great performance overall. Aaron Pritchett doing what he's been doing throughout his career. I mean, 28 of 32, great completion percentage right there. 295 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. It seemed like everything was going right. Where the Steamers were absolutely getting carved up was the run defense. I mean, they just could not stop the run at all. Rashad Duncan had himself a solid day on the ground. As you can see, 23 carries for 133 yards, had the touchdown. They also had very much a lot of success, as I said, through the air with Aaron Pritchett throwing the football. And the run really set all that up. And it's tough to stop a team once they get the run game established early, which opens up just everything for the playbook. And the defense of the Steamers just was not prepared for it. Another thing is that it seemed also that the Steamers offensively were not prepared for the defense of the Diablos. They were able to pick off Reed Wagner twice. He was 30 of 44, which actually is good numbers right there. But still, I mean, the defense did their job. The whole team for the Diablos did their job. And now they're on a 3-game winning streak. 2 of those 3, of course, being RFL games, the other being an auto win. But the Diablos, I mean, this is a team, if you got to face these guys late in the season, you're looking to make a playoff push. It's definitely a team you got a game plan for. And unfortunately, the Steamers take a bullet here with this loss, but still in the playoffs. As long as they can continue to keep on, bounce back from this and try to get back to where they were. Next game following this one, we went into our premier games. And to kick us off, it was the Desperados versus Monarchs. It seems like the Monarchs start getting the games to get a little bit closer week to week, but still unable to get a victory. Still have not won a RFL game yet. The Desperados able to beat them by 14. Final score 28-14.
Yeah, this one, I mean, the Desperados defense just had a field day with her. He major step back in my mind, and I'm sort of still expecting it. He is the young, but after seeing the last couple weeks, I sort of thought Schrader might have something in him. And this week, he didn't have any of it. 4 interceptions. They had, I think it was like a blocked field goal or blocked punt or something along those lines. You have all those turnovers, and a team like the Desperados is not going to let you get away with that. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, that was huge. Like I said, this game was still close. Which, if you look at the statistics, you would be like, "Well, it's necessary." I don't even know why I'm saying close. I mean, they lost by 14 points, but usually, we're used to them losing by even more than that.
Yeah.
But at least you get what I'm saying here. But at the same time, I mean, 5 turnovers, that is huge. 4 of those coming, of course, away from Preston Schrader, Schrader, who's just having a difficult time. We already know most likely he may be replaced. But still, especially performing like this, the biggest thing for him to keep his job was to try to perform. And even though he's going up against a very solid defense of the Desperados, I mean, you could see just they weren't having none of that. They were able to take advantage of those turnovers and make a lot of big plays. The Monarchs, I mean, they even couldn't get their Rhodes going. They shut them down running the football. The only bright spot for them was just Stanley Kemfert. Where he only had 7 catches for 125 yards. But other than that, I mean, this offense was completely shut down. And the Desperados just came out with the win. There's nothing really too much to say about that. I can give some credit to the Monarchs defense though, kind of shutting down the Hawes, on the ground there. 29 carries for 93 yards. I mean, 93 yards in the game sounds pretty good, but on 29 carries, that's about a 3-yard per carry average. So they did a good job containing him, but just couldn't stop everything. Next game we had was a very controversial game we had coming into the game. The Barons decided to start Brinker for this one, and pretty much everybody was anxious to see how this would turn out. Will Brinker stand up and be the guy that was going to be able to lead the Barons to more wins, to possibly lead them to the playoffs? Unfortunately that wasn't the case. Even with the home field advantage, he had a very rough start, man. 2 interceptions. He did throw 2 touchdowns, but those interceptions definitely proved to be costly, and the Snowhawks were able to take advantage of those and win the game 27-22.
Yeah, and I have that in my only note really for this game is Snowhawks have a good game here, rough couple weeks for them, but 2 turnovers early, the Snowhawks jumped out and just didn't have the firepower to come back. And I don't want to make it sound
you're breaking up, Bill, pretty bad.
Oh, sorry about that. We'll try that again. So like I was saying, I don't want to try to make this a, I told you so kind of situation, but you have to look at the game and you have to say 2 interceptions that were thrown are probably the difference in this game. I mean, you never know, but it just seems like it. And you don't know what's going to happen if it's Winkler or Brinker or if it was just good defense by the Snowhawks, but not a good showing for Brinker as the Barons quarterback, that's for sure.
And just looking at that situation in general, I mean, Brinker, the 2 interceptions he did throw, they were not interceptions of just great defense. They were literally straight to the defender. One of those, pretty much both of them were "where are you throwing" type of throws, and those proved to be costly in the game. They still did a pretty good job running the football. Got 15 carries, 75 yards. So a pretty good average there. They tried to get the passing game going. There just wasn't too much going off of those interceptions. I wouldn't say that the Barons played too bad in this one, but like you said, I mean, this game pretty much just came down to those turnovers. Joseph Gidley had himself a solid game. We've seen him kind of playing inconsistent as well too, man. I mean, he was 25 of 28, 267 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. But if you look at his games prior to this, he has had trouble when it came to some turnovers as of late. And this was definitely a good bounce back game for him. DJ Scott did a pretty good job on the ground as well. And just the Snowhawks played like the Snowhawks in that game, and they came out on top. So a great win there for Portland. And, they look to try to continue as they look to push for the NFC West, which we'll talk more about, in our main topics towards the end. Next game following that one, it was the Conquistadors versus the Bulldogs. Very close game. Bulldogs ended up getting on top, and the final score was 19-17.
Yeah, that's about sums it up, man. I don't have a whole lot to say about this one in my mind. This was a sloppy game, both teams, and expected a game, and kind of plays usually to a few plays or maybe one play, and I think that's what happened here. That safety in the second half really actually was the difference,
Yeah,
But
you cut out
yeah,
really,
just
really bad. You probably have to reiterate that, man. I know it's cutting out in the stream.
man, what the heck? Are you getting out better?
It's just, can you guys still hear the cut? I'm pretty sure you guys can, but I just want to make sure it's clear so that they can hear what what you said.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys can still hear me properly or not. I guess no, as I'm talking here, you
It
guys can
sounds like
hear me.
like the Discord cut out, like the robotic voice type of thing. Someone can hear him still cutting out. Yeah. But yeah, I guess we're gonna have to deal with that for this segment because I think, like I said earlier, I think the last stream was that it was coming from the Elgato, just with all these graphics on it, and I'm on one, thing with all these graphics, so that's probably why that's happening. But I guess go ahead, reiterate what you said, Bill, and if it doesn't come out clear, we're just gonna have to wait till we move on.
I'll try. Conquistadors, Bulldogs, it's a sloppy game for both teams. Rain games are going to bring that. But these games come down to a play or two, and this one did with safety. Was really that's
Yeah. So there was yes, the safety definitely ended up being the difference in this game, literally. And they won by 2 points. And like you said, man, really wasn't too much to say about this game. Rain game, very sloppy play by both teams. And at the end of the day, Bulldog came out on top. And 19-17 was the final. 7-5 are the Bulldogs, 6-6 are the Conquistadors. If I can say anything about this game, though, in terms of the teams, Conquistadors as of late, man, just not looking like the same team. They've been playing very inconsistent. But and the crazy part is both of their very bad games, in terms of offensive performance as of late, has been in rain games. So maybe they don't play too good in the rain, and hopefully they get some more clearer weather in their next games in the future. But I believe this was the final Premier game. No, it wasn't the final Premier game. It was the second to last, and it was the Pioneers taking on the Cougars. And, of course, we all felt the Cougars were going to win. They ended up winning. Final score is 27-10. What's your takeaways from this one?
Yeah, this game was obviously with Cougars to win, but I still thought it was a dominating performance. The Cougars, just like I said last week, they were going to attack McCafton, and Wolfalk was going to have a game, and he did. I think he had 4 sacks alone by himself. They had 7 altogether. And, of course, on offense, you had Henderson and Lyons both go for over 100 yards. So win for the end of the RFL world. They've sort of been away for a while, if nobody noticed, because of all the NFL, but they're back, and they came back with an answer.
Yeah, great win for the Cougars, and like you said, they just came off of 4 straight auto wins from NFL games. So they went from 5-3 to 9. Well, 5. I would say 4-3 to 8-3 coming into this game, and then of course this win puts them at 9-3, and they were expected to win. I mean, at first though, the Pioneers, I mean, they were putting on a pretty good show. Andre Tomlinson played up against his former team there, and he did a pretty good job running the football. And it seems like he was just ready to play his old team, give him a good show, and he did exactly that. Just couldn't get the win. George McAfton struggled against that defense. And the Cougars, pulled out with the victory, man. And just great performance by both London Lions and Henderson, both having over 100 yards receiving, as you have here in the notes. And, yeah, just great win for Coach Roby. In the next, I think this was the final Premier game. This was the primetime game. So that was the final Premier game that Cougars, so I was right the first time then. And the Bulls took on the Bison. Now, this was a very good game. This was a very good game due to the fact that the Bisons literally looked like they had this game in the bag. They pretty much had it all the way until towards the end of the fourth quarter, and the Bulls were able to pull off a fantastic comeback. And still, regardless of that, the Bisons had a chance to come back, but 3 straight back-to-back sacks on the final drive for OKC ended up losing them this one, and they couldn't come back. Final score was 25-22.
This probably is a very tough game. This is the worst that Coach Young has had this year, and you were expected to lose. You come and you just have such a showing for the first 3.5 quarters, and then just give it away at the end. And this game is the what if game. The what if game of the year. What if the Bisons get a touchdown instead of those field goals in the first half? What if Jay Morris doesn't fumble on that fourth quarter?
Yeah.
And then, of course, finally, what we're all thinking, Joseph Torres tries to throw the ball instead of taking a straight sack
Yeah.
where they were moving down the field, close. And but they showed why they're a talented team at the end. You might get the jump on them, you might shock them for an entire half or more, but if you give them an inch, they're going to take that mile that they need to get back in the game. That's what the Bulls did here. It's like a really tough loss for long, but we did expect the Bulls to win, just not in May, and just a heartbreaker for the Bisons.
Yeah, and apparently I'm seeing now, so it must not be the Elgato because I'm not having any bad readings, and I don't know why. It just seems this podcast in general seems to be cutting you out more. We'll try to fix that issue for future podcast guys if you hear him cutting out a lot. But like I said, we'll fix that. But like you harping on what you were saying, if guys didn't hear, man, the Bulls. I mean, we expected them to win, but we did not expect it to even be this close. The Bisons literally had this game there, and like you said, the biggest turning point. We talk about the 3 sacks, but the biggest turning point was definitely that forced fumble by Jack Brown. I mean, that was a clutch turnover for the defense because that was the Bisons were able to get them off the field. As soon as they got them off the field, pretty much at that point, if the Bisons just controlled the clock and didn't turn the football over, they would have been good. But as soon as they made that play on Jay Morris to put them in great field position, they were able to score, take the lead, and then that's when that final drive came down to, what are the Bisons going to do? Are they going to be able to finish the drive? They couldn't do it. And unfortunately, the game ended up being, not in their favor, and they lost it.
Smitty. You take a quick peek at the top line on the Bison.
Top line. Oh yeah. So yeah, don't worry about. I was supposed to change that, man. I forgot to change that. So don't worry about that. That was not Devin Hobart did not play, guys. That was definitely what's his name?
The first person to see whereas he's in the chat. It says Hobart instead of me, but it's up.
I bet he wish it was Hobart instead of him, especially what happened. But Hobart, he didn't play. That was definitely Jay Morris. Jay Morris, man, he had a pretty good game, man. And in my opinion, he did pretty good. Other than those sacks at the end, which I honestly don't feel, of course, was his fault. We already know what the issue was there. And I talked about everything was shut down, but I did see that other people were talking about at least give a guy a one-on-one ball or something. The biggest thing was just I wanted him just to throw the ball away. Didn't even happen. Yeah, so that was just an issue. That just a bad scenario that just happened there for the Bisons, and unfortunately, it cost them the game. But that was Joseph Torres, guys, not Hobart. And the Bulls end up winning that one and move on to 11-1. Still only the one loss on the season, and the Bisons looking for their first win of the season still. The game following that, we had the Black Knights versus Armadillos. This was a huge game because the Black Knights, all they had to do was defeat the Armadillos, and if they beat the Armadillos, they would move up to second in the division. And the Armadillos, as they've been doing for the most part this season, have really been coming through and beating teams who were expected to beat them, as they were able to roll over the Black Knights by 10, 30-20.
This is another one of those games I was talking about before. And every week that he's under center, I'm starting to be more and more impressed with Wade, man. Like, we gave him so much crap the first half of the season before he got benched. We gave him crap last year. The last 2 weeks, he's been great. And, he took some sacks that he should have avoided or, got the ball out. But, that pass to Darman he made, it got stacked on that play. Darman goes up, makes that amazing catch. It's just a good showing for the game. Expected the Black Knights to win it. But Devin Wade has proven that this offense is a little bit better than we thought, I think, coming into the second half of the season. And, he keeps this up, he might end up being this quarterback that they've been looking for.
Yeah, so Devin Wade, man, like you said, he's definitely looked good this week. The biggest thing about him, I said this week, these past couple of weeks, biggest thing about him in his return, I would say even in the past 3 weeks, he lost the game coming back to the Sentinels, and that game was very close, and he ended up winning the last two. But one thing he did very well is he's taking care of the football. That was something he was not doing at all when they first gave him the chance to start. They give him his third opportunity to start as a franchise quarterback there in Austin, and he hasn't looked back since. You can look at the numbers right here. 21 of 25, 385 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and that one touchdown that you mentioned, man, just a remarkable play in general from both Wade and Darman, but still that play would have never got generated if Wade didn't make that pretty much take that hit and take one for the team right there and throw it up in the air with good accuracy, just a good ball to put up there for Darman to get. And people talk about Darman, yeah, he's 5'8", but I mean that size does not matter to that guy. He's been bagging guys all season, and Wade knows his receiver, throws it up there, made a big play. And, it was just an all-around great play in general. And that just sparked a lot of momentum for the Armadillos. They did a great job of shutting down Langford Cloud. Don't know what's been going on with Langford Cloud. I mean, it's just been another week without any production from him. But, I mean, he started out the season so great. And it just seems like now defense is just shutting him down and are pretty much wanting Holding Wolf to throw the football. He's doing a good job throwing the football, but they just, they're teetering and just not winning games. So it's been rough there for the Black Knights. And instead of moving up to second, they now, like I said, stay at third in the division, and they have to hope for the best this upcoming week. They still, I guess, technically have a chance to move up. But, I mean, with this loss, definitely may be the end of their playoff run. But a great win for the Armadillos.
I got to add something here because I saw this coming up in the chat. Back to Bragg said this, and I think this is a good idea, all right? We know that the Gunners had issues with getting their guys involved. Especially Colt Cruz. Man, get this guy to the Armadillos, man. You guys go figure this out, okay? Armadillos, Gunners, sit down, hash it. Get this guy into Devin Wade's hands. Let them do some magical stuff in Austin, because I guarantee you Wade will just light this place up. Let's just do it. Let's get it done.
Well, the biggest thing is, for one, even if you think about that, man. Let's think about that. What? I mean, I know we're a little bit off topic. It would be, of course, awesome to see. But let's think about this. If the Gunners are going to give up a receiver, even though he hasn't been performing well and they need a receiver, they're going to need a receiver from Armadillos, more than likely. So they're definitely not going to give up Darman. I mean, who else do you have there to pretty much replace, Cruz? And so that would be a difficult trade in general for the Armadillos to make.
Man, I'm just... I have these great ideas all the time, and you just gotta come in here with your knowledge and your common sense, and just be like, nah, not gonna happen.
Not saying it can't.
We just think about it here.
Not saying it can't, but it's just I don't see how. Now it is definitely possible. I'm talking, but they do need to give up a receiver of some sort, and they probably do need to give up some draft capital, which I'm not sure if the Armadillos want to do that. Just to get somebody who hasn't even been productive for the Gunners, so that's pretty much the way I look at it. But anyway, let's get back to the games. We got the Elks and the Condors. They face off against each other, and the Elks, I mean, they won this one pretty soundly once again due to the incredible performance by Kyle Bain. Kyle Bain is just slowly but surely becoming a star in the RFL. I remember when he got drafted. I mean, he was definitely been the ultimate underdog that just showed his worth in this league. I mean, his rookie season, I think he was drafted 7th round by the Thunderbirds. He goes on the Thunderbirds. LC3 gets injured, leads them to the Season 3 championship game. And in the season after that, I guess because his worth shot up after that, they trade him. And they trade him to the Elks. And, that was actually, a pretty good move there. The Elks, though, at that time went out and got Tilsky. Tilsky didn't turn out, despite being a 90-plus overall quarterback, to be the quarterback that they were looking for. And ever since Coach Law came into the picture, man, he said, look, there's a lot of potential that this guy has. I have to start him. I have to give him the ability. He's a young guy. He's going to be a star. And he likes to call him Bang Bane. And he came out with a bang in this game. 35 of 40. 327 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. I mean, he had himself a monster game. Won NFC Offensive Player of the Week and led the Elks to a 40-14 win over the Condors.
Yeah, aside from Kyle Bain and this Elks offense, the thing that I wanted to talk about with this one, because I mean, there's not really much to talk about. The Elks beat the Condors very, very handedly. This. It was never in doubt. I mean, maybe for like the first quarter or so, it was like, I think it was right around within a score. But Garrison Ash at some point almost has to be considered an offensive player. I say this because he is single-handedly almost win game for the Elks. And I'm not saying he's doing it alone, but the amount of extra possessions this guy is giving Kyle Bain is coming into his own as a back. Smitty, you played football. if you are on a team and you have a fumble or a turnover, man, it just take the wind out of the team. You know, not all teams, but it sucks. You know, it's like, dang, man, what happened? If you got this happening once, maybe 2 or 3 times a game from the same dude, I mean, that gives the Elks offense, the energy it takes to win the opposing team, this guy's should be for Offense Player of the Year.
Well, one thing's for sure, he's definitely winning NFC Defensive Back of the Year. That's for sure. Definitely going to win that for the Elks. I mean, there's never been, I don't think, any safety that's performed as well as him with these forced fumbles, with just his overall play. You throw the ball around his way, he's there, he's going to make the play. And like you said, just his ability to turn the football over and give it to the offense of the Elks, I mean, that definitely fires up Bane, and then gets him even more riled up to be able to make more plays. And that's kind of what makes the Elks dangerous, man. I mean, they have a pretty solid offense, I would say. Not an elite offense. They have a solid, very good offense, I would say.
Yeah.
With Kyle Bane there, and he just continues to get better and better. But when you got a great defense like that that's going to force fumbles and turn the ball over for you, I mean, 15 fumbles this season forced.
That's
by Garrison Ash, the best safety in the league. And I can, of course, everyone should agree with that. I mean, not only is he the highest overall safety in the league, I mean, this guy is literally putting up the craziest numbers that we've ever seen happen in the league. He's definitely got the record right now for the most forced fumbles in the season. And, I mean, that most likely will continue to grow throughout these last 4 games. So I can't imagine what he's going to end up with. He might mess around and hit 20-plus forced fumbles this season. If he does that, I don't think that's a record that will be broken anytime soon. But it's just that type of mentality and ferociousness of the defense to be able to force turnovers and make plays like that happen in the offensive explosiveness. I mean, I'll tell you one thing. If the Elks get Darius Martin going like he did last year, this will be pretty much an elite team. And unfortunately, Darius Martin just has not been able to do that. But still, Elks finding ways to win. And we're going to talk more about them when we go over our discussion, which we'll be talking about the NFC West. But a great win here, and they win, like you say, very soundly, a huge margin.
Well, I got this graphic up here. I just need to ask one simple question here.
Mm-hmm.
Who the heck is Mumphrey?
Mumphrey is a free agent that the Condors signed.
This list. What happened here?
That's the right guy.
Is he? He's not a running back. He had 5 yards on 10 carries?
Yeah. That was the running back they had starting. Yep. And
was he kneeling on these carries?
He was getting crushed. The Elks defense was absolutely destroying him. Yes. So that was, I don't even think people know him, but he got picked up out of free agency, I believe, like 2 weeks ago. And they've been trying to get him going. And, that's why people would talk about, where's Buki Johnson? Buki Johnson cribbed a 92-yard touchdown off a kickoff in that game.
Part of my question, though, where was he in the running game?
They didn't use him at all. He didn't get a single carry in that game. And I talked with Coach Laramie. I didn't talk with him, but I seen him talk in the Discord about why he decided to make that move. And he said that he didn't want Buki Johnson getting the carries because he has trouble fumbling, and he knows how good the Elks defense is at forcing fumbles, so he didn't want him to touch the ball. And I guess, if that's his reasoning for it, I mean, I guess a good ideal way to try not to put your team in a bad position, but they definitely needed a spark there at the run game, and Mumphrey just was not giving it to him.
I bet he doesn't do that again.
You said what?
I said I bet he doesn't do that again.
Yeah. Yeah, he might cut Mumphrey after the play. I mean, 10 carries, 5 yards, that is ridiculous. And we move on to, I believe this was the final game of the week. I'm pretty sure it was. And the Red Dragons and the Voyageurs faced off against each other for the second time this season for the AFC West. And the Dragons were able to get it done again. Great defense, but still just a great battle between these two. Red Dragons win it 19-14.
Yeah, another good win for the Red Dragons. I expected them to do a little bit more on offense, but they did enough. But I mean, without Bobby Boucher, I mean, I think the Voyageurs are winning this thing. That last play with the sack, that was a big play. And to be honest, I sort of came away impressed with the Voyageurs than I did the Red Dragons in this game, even though they lost. I mean, the Voyageurs have been almost the forgotten team in the AFC, just with all of the other powerhouse in the AFC. But they played very well against the Red Dragons. If it's not for that last-minute sack, I'm they might have scored on that play. I don't know. You never know. But they play well and be dangerous, just like the Red Dragons can apparently, because they stuck it to them. It's like I was impressed with Voyageurs in this game, almost more so than the Red Dragons, because it's become expected at this point for Dragons doing. Either way, good for the Red Dragons, and watch out for the Voyageurs if they.
Yeah. Oh man. Hopefully, try to unplug your mic or plug it in again. I don't know what it is because now I know it's nothing on my end, so it must be something in that regard. Because I really want them to hear what you're saying, but it's just like I don't know why this podcast in general is making it like cutting out like every other word.
I don't know, man. I just unplugged it again. I guess we'll see what happens now.
Okay. All right. So hopefully you guys heard what Bill said there. For the most part, if you didn't, he was talking about the Voyageurs and how he was more so impressed with them and feeling like they could score on that drive. Just wanted to recap that there, just in case they didn't hear it. But the Voyageurs, man, and they did a pretty good job, man. This is the second time they did a good job against the Red Dragons, but the Red Dragons defense just proven to be too much. Big clutch sack at the end there by Bobby Boucher. And Boucher was pretty much quiet throughout the game, but, you know, Boucher's going to come up and make a play at some point in the game, and he did with that sack there. Just a great performance, though, by both teams. And the Red Dragons, you know, second time defending the top of the division, and they get it done against the Voyageurs. And really wasn't too much to say about that. And so with that being said, we now move on to, I believe, what's coming up this week. Week 14. I was about to say 14 games. We got 12 games. I think we got 14 games, honestly, though, next week in week 15. So it's going to be a big week in week 15. But week 14, we got ourselves starting out, once again, with an Explorers game. Bill, you're going to kick us off on Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern with the Snowhawks, man. So that's going to be another huge game. Honestly, that is a huge rivalry, I would have to say, also in the league. Because, I mean, it always seems to be these two meeting each other, and it turns out to be epic games. I remember when it first started out, these two were meeting each other and were the top teams in the NFC, and still are technically the top teams in the NFC, aside from the Thunderbirds. And I don't think there's any other teams that's got more wins than them in the franchise. But, of course, I'll probably have to look more into that again. But great game to kick us off there. After that, we got the Dreadnoughts taking on the Pioneers. Then on Friday, we have the Aviators and the Cougars taking on each other. The Aviators and Cougars are going to be called by Frank, so he'll be having his solo game there, just like I did for Jeff on Friday a couple of weeks ago. And so he'll be calling that one. And then and then we'll move on to the premier games. This time I have it in order, so we can go in order now instead of skipping the first game that we had. But 1 p.m. Eastern, we got the Lancers and Steamers. We got the Tigers and Barons at 4 o'clock, along with the Armadillos and Voyageurs at the same time. And then we have the Bulldogs and Sentinels at 6 p.m. Eastern. And we finish off game called by Jeff, calling his own game. The Bulls taking on the Black Knights. Told him not to be biased in there. We're going to see how he does there in that game, calling that one. And then we got the games for Sunday. We have the Marshals taking on the Shamrocks and the Bisons taking on the Conquistadors. And then we finish out on Monday with the Red Dragons hosting the Riverhogs and the Gunners hosting the Monarchs. So with those games being said there, let me know who you think is going to win, which games you're most excited for, Bill.
All right, so first things first. How now? Do I sound any better? Am I still going in and out?
It sounds pretty... still sounds like it's still a little bit, but I can't really tell just yet.
I'm sick of it.
Oh man, and now it really cut out.
What to do here? I'm using with the same mic and the same spot and the same table.
I don't know what's going on, man. This must be YouTube or something, man. Well, it can't be YouTube. I don't know what it is. Yeah, it says really. Yeah, they can hear that. Yeah. Maybe
I'm working on stuff. What?
Let me try to see if. Well, no, I wouldn't. That wouldn't even be. I wouldn't even.
Smitty, I'm telling you right now. You're telling me, wiggling white and stuff, and something that you could have time. I'm gonna come over.
I could barely hear anything you just said, bro. Let me go take. I'm gonna take out my cord and see if that has something to do with the cord. But it's still coming through the PlayStation, so I'm pretty sure that the cord probably isn't the issue. So let me check it out. Probably need to use a different controller just in case. All right, let's see how this goes, guys. Bill, you there?
Yeah, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here now. I just had to take all that out just to see if it works. So you can go ahead and see it, check and see how it sounds.
Are we good now? I'm okay.
It still seems like it's a little bit there, but I haven't seen much cut out.
Oh my gosh. All right, well, I guess I'll just sound like a really, really bad T-Pain song, but let's just do it over with. So Thursday, Explorers versus Snowhawks. I'm taking my team. I had to take the Explorers every time. Never going to go against myself. Thursday as well, we got Dreadnoughts and Pioneers. Think I'm going to go Dreadnoughts in that one. Aviators and Cougars. I'm going Cougars. Lancers and Steamers. My heart wants the Steamers to win, but I Lancers because they're just been on a roll, and the Steamers just came from a bad loss. Tigers and Barons. I'm pretty sure Barons got to bounce back this week. I think they do. They're at home, and the Tigers are. I mean, they're not, but they're not actually, obviously a high up team. So I'm gonna go Barons there. Armadillos and the Voice. As much as I like me some Devin Wade, I gotta go Voyageurs. I'm impressed lately. Bulldogs, Sentinels. I'm gonna go
Man, this
Sentinels.
thing is really doing you no justice, dude. I don't know what's going on. This has just got to be like probably a connection between where you're at and where I'm at. I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, because I don't think I've met before.
Yeah, it's never been like this. The same setup. It's just I don't know what's going on. I didn't get to hear anything you really said for the Armadillos and Voyageurs one.
Well, skip past my then, because it doesn't point to keep talking not being heard by anyone.
What'd you say?
You just start. Do your predictions.
All right.
Mine is not working.
All right. So yeah, I'm probably gonna have to. that's messed up. Can't hear my man Bill's predictions. How about you just go by the teams in order? Just say the one name, and without no reason.
Explorers,
he says. Dreadnoughts.
Aviators.
Wow, I didn't hear anything. You think it's maybe because you're too close to the mic?
I was so far away before.
Wow.
I thought it was up. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me right now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah. Let me just do the predictions, man.
just do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna just do it, man. This is crazy. They won't even let him say one word. That's crazy. Don't know what's going on, guys. Definitely it's nothing on our end, so I don't know what that is. Usually doesn't happen in the podcast, man. But okay, so the Explorers and Snowhawks game, I got the Explorers there in that one, despite them being on the road. It's just the Snowhawks not looking the same to me. Then we have the Dreadnoughts and Pioneers. I'm gonna go with the Dreadnoughts. That's crazy. We can hear him I can hear you typing on I can hear you typing on a keyboard, but it won't let you talk. That's ridiculous. But anyway,
it's all so stupid.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. But the Dreadnoughts and the Pioneers, I got the Dreadnoughts there in that one. I got the Cougars over the Aviators. The Steamers in Lancers game, man, not going to call that one. I know what happens in that game. All I got to say, just go watch that game. We got the Tigers versus the Barons. I'm going to go with the Barons here in this one. They have decided to start Winkler again. I really feel like Winkler is going to be able to get it done there, and they should be able to win it at home. And you got the Voyageurs taking on the Armadillos. I got to go with Baker here. I mean, I feel like Baker is definitely a solid guy who's going to be able to get it done there. He's definitely turned the Voyageurs around. Armadillo's been looking good, but I don't think they're going to be able to beat Houston. Then we got the Sentinels in Bulldogs. I'm going to go with the Sentinels in that one since they have the home field advantage there. They're a pretty solid team. They know how they've got to win pretty much at this point to stay into the playoffs. I think they take a loss here. They don't make the playoffs. But so an important game for them, and I think they'll win. Then I got the Bulls over the Black Knights to finish out Premier Day. And then for the Marshals and the Shamrocks, Shamrocks are very hot, but I got the Marshals winning that one. I think Rummel and the Marshals, especially with their defense, might be able to figure something out to slow down Tom Wilson and get the victory. Then the Bison, I'm going to be honest here, guys. The Bisons versus the Conquistadors. This is a game that I feel that the Bisons can win. If they perform anything like they did against the Bulls, they can definitely win this game. I'm going to go with the Conquistadors because they haven't been a consistent team, so I don't know if they'll be consistent enough to have the same performance this week against a team on the road. So I'm going with the Conquistadors, but this is definitely a team that I feel that right now with the way they've been performing, that the Bisons may be able to beat with their first win of the season. So I'm gonna just leave that like that. I got the Red Dragons over the River Hogs. I do think that'll be a pretty good game. And the Gunners, I think they will bounce back with a win over the Monarchs. I don't feel they'll win a single game this season, but you never know, man. You never know. Any given game day in the RFL, you already know. Yeah, unfortunately, we don't got Bill in the in here with us, guys. He now has joined you guys amongst the chat. Well, he's still here, but yeah. Oh man, yeah, this still not even. I don't know what's going on, dude. But you said what?
I'm something here.
Okay, I barely heard it, but let me go. Okay, so that's going to pretty much be the Week 14 schedule right there. So in terms of the games I'm most excited to see this week, it's always a good game watching the Explorers versus Snowhawks, so that'll be one of them. I do want to see the Barons in the Tigers game because I feel like, I just want to see where the Barons is at now that they're starting Winkler again and then they're playing the Tigers again. And the other game, I guess, definitely is going to be the Steamers and Lancers. That's another big game for, I say, this week. If I wanted to add some more that I think you guys should pull up to, you should pull up to all of them. But the River Hogs and Red Dragons game, I think, is going to be pretty solid, especially the Marshals and the Shamrocks. That should be a really good, solid game as well. It's a lot of really good games, but I think those jump out off the radar more than the others. So I'll say those are all the big games you definitely want to watch. And I'll throw in the Armadillos and Voyageurs game as well.
Is this any better?
It definitely is a drop in quality, but it still seems like it's cutting you out. Can you try to say some more things?
If that's the case, though, that it's not, because I switched to a set.
Yeah, it's cutting you out, bro. I think it's the connection in general. That's what's going on. I don't know how this is happening. It's a whole lot of, I don't know what's going on, man. It's just, man, it definitely has messed up the podcast here a little bit. Definitely not your fault or mine, so I don't know what's going on. Hopefully we get that fixed for you guys on the next one. But moving on, we got the top 10 power rankings. I guess, Bill, man, just go off and say what you need to say, and whatever gets out, man, just gets out. I won't even ask what you said. Just go ahead. But here's a look at the top 10 power rankings coming into Week 14. And they're literally everything just about stayed the same. The only things that changed was the Explorers, Huskies, and Steamers. Now, as the Explorers are 8th, Huskies 9th, and Steamers 10. What is your thoughts on this power rankings list here, Bill?
I just had to get my stuff set up again.
Okay.
Trying to mess with that to see if that fixes anything, but I highly doubt it. Okay, so we are doing the power, guys. I'm also about trying to figure this out. Am I still cutting out horribly?
Just a little bit. I wouldn't worry about it, man. Just get out what you can. Definitely spent a little bit more time on that. So
yeah. For this list, I really don't have a whole lot of gripes with it. I mean, yeah, I really have a lot of gripes. It's a pretty good list. I of course think my Explorers should be higher, but I understand why they're not. Yeah, I'm good with it.
Yeah, same here. Nothing too much to say about that. Just I guess now the guys watching can look at the top 10 power rankings. This definitely got this got dropped yesterday's too, huh?
Here's a question for you though. Do you think that there's a chance that you'll ever put the Thunderbirds, the Celtic Tigers?
Not the no. The only way that would happen, because I mean, let's be honest here. I mean, the Thunderbirds. I mean, I wouldn't say they're on the level of the Celtic Tigers yet. It's not this season. You know, they're definitely up there, the elite team. They're definitely the number 2 team. But honestly, if they had the same record, the way that they performed this season, who would you put right now as the number 1 team? I wouldn't put the Thunderbirds there.
I don't know, man. With the defense, man.
Yeah, it's solid. But what about the offense of the Celtic Tigers? The best offense in the league.
The way I see it, and this is just my opinion, okay? I believe defense is more important than offense.
No. Like, you can't get that.
No, it is. It is.
Nah, bro. I mean, and not only that, it's just if you compare even the loss to who lost to who, the Celtic Tigers lost to the Sentinels, which was a good opponent. You know, the Barons lost to the Barons too, but if you look at those two comparisons, you know, the Sentinels are a better team than the Barons, in my opinion. So, I mean, and it was a close game that literally came off of a few turnovers. The Celtic Tigers should be an undefeated team, honestly. You know, Thunderbirds could be too.
It looks like I'm getting the green hat right now, man. You might want to change, bud.
Not going to change that, man. Everyone knows that the Celtic Tigers are the top team in the league right now. There's no team better than the Celtic Tigers. Thunderbirds definitely number 2, though. That's for sure. And
man.
so we did the number. That's okay. We did the top 10, and okay, yeah. Now we get to look at the playoff picture, the new playoff picture, and we start in the AFC. Celtic Tigers, number 1 seed here in the division as the division leaders, followed by the Bulls, Dreadnoughts, Red Dragons in the wild card spots right now. The Huskies and Cougars. Sentinels get booted out after their loss, and they will now fall to 7th, followed by the Voyageurs, Armadillos, Riverhogs, and Black Knights. So looking at that list, who do you think? How you feel about this list, man? I think this just about almost is sold in for the AFC, depending on what those 8 and 4 teams do.
I think so, man. I don't think they sold in at all. I think top 4 sold in. That's good. Mark the 4 off, top 4 off. 5 and 6 last week. It was the Sent and the Cougars. Before that, it was Huskies, Cougars. It was Huskies, Sentinels. Now you have Voyageurs right there, a game tied with the Sentinels. It's crazy because they weren't even on the list last week, and now they jumped into the list after that win over Black Knights. I mean, yeah, it's just I just don't think anything outside the 4 is really solid or
yeah. People talking about T-Pain in the chat. It's all good, man. Hopefully this doesn't happen again. It's definitely got to be a connection issue because we've tried everything.
Yeah, I bought a new gaming headset. I swapped it out for that. That was on before with the lower quality. I've unplugged everything. There ain't nothing on my internet. Everything's good over here, so I don't know what the heck it is.
Yeah. Got said topped and screwed. Wow. But anyway, let's move on to the NFC side. So for the NFC side, these are your current playoff teams. We have at number 1 the Thunderbirds, then the Lancers at 2, Steamers 3, Crusaders winning the division there, leading the division currently for 4, Marshals 5, Explorers 6. And then in the outside looking in, it's the Desperados, Shamrocks, Barons, Elks, and Diablos. Now moving up there after an impressive win over the Steamers, but there's no way they get in there.
That's not a move up, man.
Yeah, at least he's in. At least they get showed.
Everything stayed the same last week. Nothing changed. The only thing I had to update on this playoff picture was
what?
Was the records.
Diablos were always there? They were there last week?
They were there last week, yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I was looking through the list. I'm like, seriously, I don't have to swap out anybody? Nope.
Yeah, dang. I couldn't. I didn't even notice that.
I didn't either until I was about done. This feels like I didn't do anything on this graphic here. And I rechecked it 3 times. And, yeah, enough. This is what it's laid out to be.
Well, I guess everything just pretty much stayed the same. But to be honest, looking at this, my opinion, it looks like this is more than likely going to be your 6 NFC playoff teams this season. Well, we still don't know, which we'll get into the topic of with the Crusaders on who's going to win that division. But most likely this could very well be the list. What do you think?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So nothing really too much to say about that. We'll move on to our next topic. And we only got 2 main topics instead of 3. But for our first main topic, it's the Brooklyn Bulls after a close game to the Bisons. I mean, they barely were able to squeeze out of there with the victory. They're 11-1 now, but this is a look at their next and literally their final 4 games of the season. All RFL games, and this is the list. This week, they play the Black Knights, 7-5 team. Next week, week 15, they play the Riverhawks, same record, 7-5. Of course, that'll be different. Again, you got the Cougars, who they beat by 1 point earlier on in the season. And so you never know how that game's going to turn out. Cougars could very well beat the Bulls. And then they finish with, of course, one of the toughest opponents in the AFC, the Red Dragons, a 10-2 team currently. Looking at this schedule that the Bulls have left here, I mean, how do you feel they're going to end this season here?
That's a tough question. I mean, this was last week. I probably have said I'd see them finishing strong, but I was talking about how those were resilient this week and coming back against the Bison, and eventually winning that game in the fourth quarter. If that same situation is played out in any one of these 4 games, I don't see them coming back into the game. They're just, in my opinion, years ahead of point, and if they get a 2-3 touchdown lead on you, I don't see you come back. Maybe this last week was just a mix-up and just situation, but if it's a sign of things to come, they might be in trouble.
Yeah, at the most part, we already pretty much know it doesn't matter. Honestly, if they lose just about all 4 of these games,
regardless.
Yeah, they're going to the playoffs.
Yeah,
that's for sure. But it's just you want to go into the playoffs with momentum, and this is a team that looked great heading into the playoffs last year and got eliminated the first game they played in against the Cougars. So, the biggest thing for the Bulls, a relocation bowl isn't expected. Well, I would say by the community. It's definitely expected by Jeff. He wants to go to the relocation bowl. He wants to win a relocation bowl. But the biggest thing right now for that franchise is winning a playoff game. And you don't want to go into that game with just a negative, just a momentum kill, losing these games straight. Honestly, looking at this, if I had to predict, I would say that they do beat the Black Knights this week. The Riverhawks is going to be a very tough game. I feel like they are going to win that one, though. But these last 2 games against the Cougars and Red Dragons, I kind of feel like they're going to split with the Cougars. And I don't feel that the Bulls are that great of a team to be able to defeat the Red Dragons and move on that defense. And so I feel like they might lose 2 of these last 4 games. With that being said, I mean, what's your predictions on these last 4 games for the Bulls?
I think they split 14-15 win, 6-17 lose.
Yeah, so same thing as me. First 2 games win, last 2 games losses, right?
Yeah.
So I mean that's definitely kind of how I feel it may go. You never know. The Bulls could mess around and win all of these potentially, with a big upset over the Red Dragons. But pretty much like I said, this is a game of momentum. Got to have that momentum going into the playoffs. They know they're a playoff team, and there's a potential if they lose all 4 of these games that they don't win the division, and they would have to play the first round of the playoffs. So that's another big thing too. So that's pretty much all I have to say about that there, to see what Coach Melanishian will do with the Bulls here for the final 4 games of the season. Looking at the last main topic we have to cover, it's the NFC West. This may not be the most talented division in the RFL for sure. We know that. But this is the most competitive division in the league right now, as there are 3 teams who could potentially win the division. Just about everyone else have the division locked. But who is going to advance to the playoffs? It's only going to be 1 team out of the NFC West that's going to go to the playoffs. Will it be the Crusaders, who currently hold the number 1 spot? Will it be the Elks, who have the same record but are at number 2? Or will the Snowhawks be able to pull off a little surprise and go up to the top and advance over the Crusaders and Elks, man. What is your thoughts? Who do you think will win the NFC West and go to the playoffs this year?
If we're going off of remaining schedule and because of the auto wins for the Crusaders, if we're going off of who I think the best team right now in that division, I would Elks. The Snowhawks, even if they finish strong, can, because I know the Elks swept them. I can't remember off the top of my head what the situation Crusaders, but I don't see the Snowhawks being the teams, but I can see the Elks. I believe the Elks stronger team. I just don't know if they're going to have enough week overtake the Crusaders.
Yeah, so in my opinion, I do feel like the Crusaders have this on lock. We can throw the Snowhawks in there because technically they do have a slim chance. So that's the reason why they're even in this debate. But mainly it comes down to the Crusaders and the Elks, in my opinion. The Crusaders definitely have themselves an opportunity to win this division, but the biggest thing, which of course has to make the announcement, is Coach Bacigalupi has been suspended for his next RFL game due to playing an auto win game. And that actually could turn the tide for the Crusaders, because the Crusaders now will be without their coach for one of the last 2 games that they have this season. If they lose to the Tigers, they play the Explorers, which is another game that's tough, which I feel that they cannot win. There's a potential they can win, but I mean, I'm not trying to hype you up because you're on the podcast here, Bill, but I don't see how the Crusaders I'm just saying. I just don't feel like the Crusaders can be able to win that battle, but it's definitely, it comes down to, will the Crusaders beat the Tigers next week? If they lose to the Tigers, then that gives the Elks a chance to win the division. And I know that Coach is going to be the biggest Chicago Tigers fan of Coach Wizenard than anybody. And so I think that's what it comes down to, is if the Crusaders win against the Tigers, they're in. They lose against the Tigers, then the Elks, they have a high chance of winning the division. So that's my thoughts on that. With that being said, that's all we had to cover here for this podcast here tonight. Now we are open, as usual, to questions from the community. Bill, if you can, hopefully I can understand you from, this stuff going on here. But if you can see any questions, feel free to point those out and you can try to answer them.
Anything comes through the for questions, I don't see anything yet. Still. Reload Bowl predictions. First question.
Reload Bowl prediction. So my relocation bowl prediction, honestly, I feel it's going to be it's either going to be the Celtic Tigers and Thunderbirds or the Red Dragons and Thunderbirds, in my opinion. What do you think?
Yeah. I think I'm going.
Oh, you think you're going? Okay, who do you think your?
I'm gonna say I'm not. No.
Who do you think your opponent would be from the AFC side?
That's a toughie. Probably either Dragons or Celtic. I mean, right now those are just the dead giveaways to me. I mean, I know there's have technically better records than them, but the Dreadnought Bulls are right there too. But I don't see any of those top teams getting the Red Dragons. I don't think the Tigers will get past Dragons, to be honest.
I don't know. I mean, they did beat them before.
Yeah, because you have this imagination where defense doesn't matter, and like, dude.
But let's be honest, their defense was there against the Celtic Tigers, and the Celtic Tigers still won. So that goes to show you how great that kills your argument right there. That the fact that that is the best defense in the league right now, and they still could not beat the Celtic Tigers with that defense. So that tells me that they have the best offense that no defense can shut down. So they are, for that reason, the better team
If
than the
we use
Thunderbirds.
that kind of a show reasoning for that, then then does that mean the set defense is in the Red Dress?
They're not, but the way they won was based off of
hey,
key
they
plays.
Had that one game where they were better.
Yeah, and then
so they must be
Thunderbirds had
better than
one
them.
game too where they lost to the Barons.
I'm just saying you can't one game.
Yes, but you can't use the one. You can't use the one game argument, man.
Championships.
You can't use the one game argument. You can't use a one game argument if the team that you want to put up top lost a game too, and to a lesser opponent.
Find the same in the slows of the century. That
Man, I wish that your mic was working right now because I would like to really have a clear debate.
All right, I got you in the chat.
Okay. But let's be honest though, man. Like, you can't use a one game argument with the Celtic Tigers when the Thunderbirds lost to the Barons. And they played
one game argument. What?
And not only that, let's compare. Let's compare. No, I didn't use no one game argument. I didn't use no one game argument. Not at all. Let's also think about this. Let's also talk about this. The fact that the Thunderbirds lost to a team who had a worse defense, so they had the better chance of winning. And the Celtic Tigers played the second best team, in my opinion, in the entire league and still won. And then if you're going to talk about, I mean, there's a lot I could say. I mean, the Celtic Tigers, they still beat that defense on top of that and held the Red Dragons to 14 points. Granted, their offense isn't that great, but still, the Celtic Tigers defense isn't bad either. So, and then think about that. If the Red Dragons, I do think the Red Dragons have a chance to beat the Celtic Tigers, yes. But at the same time, do you think their offense is going to be able to move like that against the Celtic Tigers defense? The Celtic Tigers are clearly a better team.
I don't know, man. I don't know. All I'm saying.
I wish the mic was clear, man. It would have been so much better for this podcast so guys can hear you.
But if historically, you're talking historically, defense has more than offense has. That's just, in fact, there's nothing to argue about it.
But that's not the case when it relates to these two teams.
Okay,
that's what I'm saying.
Let's take some of the teams this year, right? Take a look at some of our teams this year. Let's start with Tigers, right? Because they have a defense too, which is what I'm forgetting about in this arc. They have a good defense, but if you look at, like, let's say me and the Thunderbirds, right? Obviously, I think both of our strengths is our defense. Defense outweighs performance when it comes to my defense offense, and I'm sure Mark agree with that.
Honestly, I don't agree with that, man. I think that they're both equal.
What?
I honestly don't agree with that because you don't. It still depends on the talent of the offense and talent of the defense. If you have a really great offense, it doesn't matter what defense you got if it can beat anything. If you have a really good defense that can shut down anything, it really doesn't matter what type of offense you have. So it's vice versa. So you can't say that offense is better than defense. It's 50-50. Yeah. And they say defense wins championships. Yeah, they say that. But at the same time, it's still like, what if you had a really great offense that nobody can stop? It's the same thing. You could say offense wins championships too.
My point of this was, take a look at some of the teams who are considered to have the best offenses. And let's use the NFC, because I know the NFC more than I know the AFC. What were some of the top in the NFC so far this season?
I didn't get to hear anything you said.
Who were the top offenses in the NFC this year?
NFC, we could say the Steamers.
Okay.
Crusaders. Let's see another offense. We could say,
don't forget the Barons there, because the Barons had a offense too.
Their offense is not better than the Steamers, and
I'm not saying it's better, but I'm saying of production they are. They're okay. They're not elite. They're not up there, I would say. So I wouldn't put the Barons in there. I could put your team, because at first you guys struggled with putting up points, but at the end of the day, I'm being honest. I wouldn't put my team up there.
I don't know, man. You guys been scoring points as of lately, so you guys are technically up there.
Look at a team like the Steam and the Crusaders. They've had some trip ups this year, especially Crusaders. What's the weak link?
Okay, it's been their defense.
Not the offense. Okay.
And what's been some there's been weaknesses for teams who don't have good offenses either.
Yeah, Justin, we use you as an example.
It could go vice versa, to be honest.
It's not though. Like I'm saying, like if you go up against the greatest defense in the world with offense in the world, I think 9 out of 10 times the defense wins that matchup. Period.
I don't believe, bro. If you can't stop offense, it doesn't matter which one it is. I'm saying it's still even.
But if you can't crack a defense, how come that's not being talked about? If you can't crack a defense, then how's they gonna?
But if you're the top offense that can crack any defense, which the Celtic Tigers showed, how are you going to beat them? That's what I'm saying. So it really matters about which one's better, the defense or the offense. If the offense is better, they're going to win. If the defense is better, they're going to win. It does. Honestly, there's offense is not better than defense, and defense is not better than offense. I mean, like I said, they could say defense wins championships, yeah. But at the end of the day, if that offense is better than that defense, then what are we gonna say now? It don't matter. They can't stop him. It can go either way.
Moon just said CT's gonna fold, and I think I saw him before say that T's over.
I mean, let me ask me how about this? I'll put on I'm on the Celtic Tigers right now. I'll turn on the Celtic Tigers right now, and you ask me where these guys are going to fold or where they're awful. So let me go to the schedule.
I didn't say it, Smitty.
Or just I'm just saying for guys who are sitting here, not necessarily you. I'm just talking for guys who are saying even in the chat, Celtic Tigers. Let's go look at what they did this season. Beat the crap out of the Bulldogs, 45-23. Next game, beat the Black Knights, 40-13. Okay, beat the Conquistadors, 34-27. Granted, close game, but look at this.
Yeah.
Red Dragons. Okay, the Red Dragons did the best against the Celtic Tigers, and they still couldn't win. That defense, like I said, didn't matter because their offense is that great. You want to know where the Celtic Tigers is ranked in the RFL right now? Best offense in the league. There's nobody beating the Celtic Tigers offense or touching it.
Hold on. But look at that. How many points did the Red Dragons score in that game?
21. I mean, 14. Okay.
So does the offense?
But
hold
granted,
the Red Dragons to 14?
still granted, like you said, it comes down to the Celtic Tigers defense too. So I mean,
that's my point.
But it's not the fact that it's the defense that won the Celtic Tigers the game. That's what I'm saying. If we only can use one side argument, how are you going to say that? Oh, now it's the defense that helped the Celtic Tigers win this game because they only scored 14 points.
They held them to 14 points. That's big,
bro. The offense of the Red Dragons, for one, wasn't productive. Okay, they weren't that good
because of the good defense the Celtic Tigers had.
You can say that, yeah, but also they weren't good,
dude.
I don't see how it depends on which side is better, bro. Like the Celtic Tigers won this game because of, I would say, yes, their defense, but it's not the defense that you're going to say that you can say on why the Red Dragons are like why you would pretty much this argument still comes down to the Thunderbirds. So are you going to say still to the defense that the Thunderbirds should be ranked higher than the Celtic Tigers after looking at how they've been performing this entire season as a unit?
I'm telling you right now, if it comes down to a game between those two, and this
Celtic Tigers are going to win.
This hurts to say this because I mean I want to beat this team. I want to beat this team so badly, man, because they're my problem.
So you're saying with 100% certainty that the Thunderbirds are going to beat the Celtic Tigers if they go to the Reload Bowl?
I'm not saying 100% certainty. What I'm saying is about 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 times. I'm going to take that ferocious 7. Sorry, man. Ingram and Knight coming off the edge. What are you talking about?
That doesn't mean anything if Drake Crowell is dotting them up. That doesn't mean anything, and it doesn't mean anything. You could take away even Trey Worsley. It's not going to mean anything.
Same with the Red Dragons, man. Like that defense is stout. I don't see them. I don't see. I'm going to call it right now. The Celtic Tigers are not going to go to the Reload Bowl.
Okay, and when they do, we're going to see what's up. I'm going to holler at you.
I'm sure you will.
Let's go look at the Red Dragons because they lost more than one game. Celtic Tigers, and look at this.
I'm not stuttering now.
They
lost good stuff to say before, and now
I know
I'm
it's
not
good now.
Anymore.
Yeah, there's no problem. So now the debate's on. Now it's now we're gonna get to
it. It's been brought.
So now the debate's on. We can get it now. I'm sorry, guys, but we haven't been answering your questions. We haven't been asking you guys questions, but now it's on. All right, so I mean, look at this. It is Celtic Tigers.
What?
I mean, look at this.
We're looking at
Celtic Tigers. I mean, the Red Dragons. I mean, why didn't the Red Dragons win this game?
I don't know.
Why didn't they win this game? You want to know why? Because they had no offense. The defense was there, but guess what? They had no offense. 3-20 to the Celtic Tigers, boy. 3-20 to the I said the Celtic Tigers. I don't know why I keep saying the Celtic Tigers. The Conquistadors. They had 3-20 to the Conquistadors. You're telling me that they lost that game because the Conquistadors had better defense? No. They lost it because their offense wasn't there.
I bet you that the
offense is just as important.
Have a game like this eventually.
You said what? A game where they get blown out like this?
Yeah,
no, they're not.
Everybody has it happen.
No, they're not.
Everybody has it happen, man.
Everybody
has it happen.
I'm 99% sure.
So
that
you're saying the Celtic Tigers are never going to be held without a touchdown ever?
No. I guarantee this season. We're talking about this season. I'm not talking about ever, but I'm talking about this season. Let's not talk about ever in the history. We're talking about now. This season, there's no team that's going to stop the best offense in the league from scoring a touchdown. Red Dragons aren't going to do it.
I can't wait to see this unfold, and I'm going to come straight to your DM.
Okay, you know I know it's not going to happen because I'm going to go to your DM.
Call you. I'm not going to the DM. I'm calling you.
Look, and I see Mark's mad in the chat, but look, man, let's be real here. Like the Celtic Tigers, like I have to put them over the Thunderbirds. I mean, honestly, what would you say? Like, who can honestly put a definitive reason that the Thunderbirds should be better than the Celtic Tigers right now? Who's the most dominant team out of the two? You even look at the schedule. Who's playing the tougher schedule? It's the Celtic Tigers, and they're still winning.
Hey, beat me twice, damn it! All right, I think. Okay, I'm a pretty good team.
Your division opponent. He played you twice. What other big talent did he play this season that was better than what the Celtic Tigers played this year?
I don't know. I didn't play his game. So.
These guys beat the Red Dragons. These guys beat the Cougars. These guys beat the Sentinels. Dude. These guys beat the Armadillos ain't really all that, but these guys beat the Dreadnoughts. All those tough games right there. I think Mark, the only biggest opponent that he had to worry about this season was you.
Well, but that's not his fault. That doesn't make his.
I know it's not his fault, but I mean, looking at who's coming into the game, who's the better team when you look at that? The Celtic Tigers.
I don't know.
I answered it for you. It's the Celtic Tigers. I'm gonna go to the NFC right now. I'm gonna go to the NFC. Let's look at the Thunderbird schedule.
Go to whatever conference you want to go to. Okay.
Okay. Let's go ahead and look at the Thunderbird schedule. Okay. And let me show and tell me who other than who else had talent, if his schedule even compares to the Thunderbirds. Okay. Condors easy. Well, I don't mean to say this. Coaches, please cover your ears when I say this.
Defend everybody.
Yeah, but I'm gonna say like Condors not a challenge for the Thunderbirds. Tigers not a challenge for the Thunderbirds. Barons, they beat them. Yeah, great offense. Well, look at that. How did they win this game? How did the Barons win this game?
It was a fluke game, just like the Red Dragons had.
I don't want to hear nothing about no fluke. I don't want to hear nothing about no fluke.
As soon as we get into any kind of debate, you automatically just forget all of the other things we've ever talked about. Like, teams have bad games. You know this.
Okay.
But now it's not even a thing because it goes against your argument, man. Come on now.
How's that?
Teams have bad games. Every team has it.
Let me say this, though. I mean, I don't see how any of that old stuff even pertains to right now and why my argument that I've been making with the Celtic Tigers being a better team than the Thunderbirds. I can say the Celtic Tigers had a fluke game, and there's against the Sentinels, which if you look back at it, they had 3 interceptions that came off on some wild stuff, and they ended up losing that, right?
Yeah.
So they would be undefeated.
The defense outplayed their offense.
No. It's because it was mistakes on the offense, and they still barely won that game. They barely won that game.
Oh, my gosh.
You can't credit a defense just because – and defenses can still get beat no matter – like, you act like defenses still can't get beat with turnovers, bro.
I'm not saying they can't get beat, but what I'm saying is offense generally, 99% of the time, is held in check when it's matched by a better or on par defense because defense wins championships.
I could say the same thing with the offense, bro. What if, let's say for instance, if there's an offense better than the best defense in the world, it doesn't matter. The offense is going to win.
That's some pretty generic crap to use.
But it's the truth, right? That's why I said you can't say that defense is better than offense, and you can't say offense is better than defense. So there is no they're the better team because of their defense. No, you can't.
I can. I just did.
Because I can still make the exact same argument that you're making with the offensive side of the ball. If there's an offense that can make the Thunderbirds look terrible, then
all I'm saying is the winner of this year's Reload Bowl is going to be the better defense. I'm calling it now. That's going to be the winner of the Reload Bowl is the better defense. That's just what I'm guessing.
Well, look, this is what I'm going to say. Even with that, look, I'm not going to say you're technically wrong with that, but I'm saying in general, you're the way you are wrong is saying that the defense is more important than the offense, and it's not.
I think it is.
It's even.
I think
it's not. It's not. You got to play the game on both sides, bro. It depends on which side is better.
Look at what DeMarc just put in here. He lost how many players on offense? How many people on offense did he lose?
He lost about
this.
4.
We talked about this.
He lost a good amount of guys.
How terrible this was, and he still didn't lose a game at that point.
But look at his schedule.
This was. It doesn't matter.
Yes, it does.
This was just killing it,
bro. Let's look at how many games did he win without offensive production. Also, can we talk about that too? There's a couple of games that he won where his offense really didn't do anything, and the game shouldn't even been close. But you want to know why the games were close? Because he didn't have the offense there. Because he lost his weapons. Bro, the offense is just as important as the defense.
Let's take my first game against him this year, right? Was it his offense or his defense that brought him all the way back into that game and beat me?
Bro, for one, his offense actually brought him back into that game.
What?
Well, his defense, his defense, yeah, you were right. Yeah, his defense. But guess what? You want to know why? Because your offense started to lack.
Bro, his defense forced 3
it's
fumbles
vice
in a
versa.
row and a pick 6.
Bro, it's vice versa. It's vice versa. Whoever is better at the time is going to be the one who's going to win. That's what I'm saying. You cannot say offense is better than defense. It's not. It's not.
And his D beat me the second
That's
game
all
too.
I'm trying to get
I don't
you
even want to talk
to.
about this anymore, right? Because all we're talking about is me losing to the stupid Thunderbirds. But they're
but,
still.
But this is the argument, guys. This is what I'm saying. This is the argument I'm trying to make. I'm not trying to argue that the defense is, if it's better than the offense, that they're not going to win. I'm not arguing that. I'm arguing the fact that nobody should say that defense is more important than offense, because it's not.
Yes, it is.
Both are equally important. There's no reason for there to be an argument for that, in my opinion. It really isn't. Whoever's better, if the offense is better than the offense is going to win. If the defense is better than the defense is going to win. It's 50-50. There's no reason why anyone should think that defense is more important than offense.
I'm going to agree to disagree.
I'm just saying we can do that. But that's my argument. That's the only thing I'm going to say. I'm not arguing the fact that, okay, the Thunderbirds, I'm not even arguing at all the fact that your predictions are going to be wrong. I'm arguing the fact that you said that the defense is more important than offense. It's not. The Red Dragons could beat the Celtic Tigers, but guess why? Because the offense didn't perform. That could happen, right?
So you're going to take away all the credit from the opposing team. So anytime a team falters on offense, it's not because the defense.
Okay, so what happens?
It's because the offense faltered. That's not.
But
right,
I can say the same. I can say the same thing. What if the Red Dragons defense all of a sudden don't show up and the offense of the Celtic Tigers do? I can fault the defense as well. So I have an argument for either way you want to go with it. That's what I'm saying.
The way you want to go with it.
Exactly. So what does that mean? So if we have an argument for each other on which way we can go for it, what does that mean? That means it's equal. It's 50-50
when a defensive team wins.
That's still not proving but what if it don't happen? It could go 50-50. That's what I'm saying. It could be 50-50. Now, what if you're wrong and what if I'm right? At the end of the day, somebody's going to be in each other's DMs, yeah. But you can't say that it wouldn't go the other way.
It's not going to.
Okay.
I don't see it.
I'm going to be in your DMs if it happens, and if it happens, you're going to be in mine. So either way, I'm going to eat it. Whatever you're going to eat it, whatever happens.
I know, but this is my final thought here. We got my team, who I think has a great defense. The Thunderbirds. We got the Cougars. We got the Red Dragons. Those are 4 solid teams with. You're not crediting
any of those teams with their offense on them helping. You think their defense won them every game?
I'm not.
You think the Thunderbirds' defense won them every game?
Don't inflate my words. I did not say they don't have offense. I'm saying they have defense.
But that's what I'm saying. The defense is not as important as the off. Is not more important than the offense.
You what?
You're still putting more importance on the defense than the offense. That's what I'm saying. I don't think you should be able. You should do that.
I hope I am.
Now let's get off this topic. We've been on this for a minute, man.
All right, fine, whatever.
I'm dropping it because I don't see how anybody can do that, man. It depends on which side's better, in my opinion. 50-50.
I'm going to tell you, one of those 4 teams I just mentioned is going to win the Reload Bowl. Mark my words.
Yeah. What if the Celtic Tigers win the Reload Bowl?
Nope.
No? Okay. If they win it, just know here, guys. I can eat. I can whatever anybody says to me. It's not going to matter to me. I generally as a guy who don't care. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I eat that. But if the Celtic Tigers win, Bill, you better be just like me because I'm gonna be at you.
You can come at me all you want.
I mean, if it ever happens, and anybody else who believes that defense is more important than offense. It's whoever comes ready to play and who's better at the time. It has nothing to do about one side being the superior in any way than the other. I don't agree with that.
Yeah. Well, before we move on, Moon Vision NC, go and check the stats before you start talking down on my defense. Okay, go and check the stats, bud.
Now Bill's defense is pretty solid.
Come in here with that crap. Get out of here.
What do you say? I can't. My phone just died.
He said my defense is a 6 out of 10 and that it sucks on third down. Go check the tape, bud. Go check the tape. Come at me with that garbage.
Yeah,
this is the guy who said
like,
CT was overrated. You guys wanted last week's Bill. Now you got him. You went and messed with my team. Now. No, I'm
not gonna lie though. Bill's Explorers is pretty solid on defense, man. It was the top 3 defense for like pretty much the entire season. Yeah. Man, I got to pull up this YouTube so I can see these chats, man. I want to see what people are saying. I got myself on mute. Yeah, okay.
Come at me. You could at least came at the offense. I would at least give you respect for that one. My offense doesn't always perform the best.
Okay, I'm going to the channel now. I want to see this chat, man. It's got to be hilarious. Okay, let me move this to the side so that
Moon. I'm sorry, bud. You can say that, but you lost all credibility with questions being asked at this point after those comments, bud.
Said
that's
best
ridiculous.
Podcast ever. Bill's messed up mic was like, I know that is hilarious though, bro.
My mic came through in the clutch. Damn it! All right, my mic was like,
God.
No, we got points to say. I am coming in the end, just like the Bulls did last week. Don't count me out yet.
That is hilarious, though. That is funny how your mic didn't cut out.
Yeah. Thank you, Amir Williams. Yeah, last time everybody checked, I'm the number 1 defense in the NFC by yards. Yes, Mark, I know you have higher profile than you do. Here, look at it. It's points is the thing that I'm not number 1 in right now.
And look, now the mic's starting to come back. Like that's some bull. Why is this happening? Oh man. See one guy disliked it. I guess he hated the debate. I think it was good for the podcast, man. I like that we had that.
That was good.
Yeah, so we just about blew over. I guess that somebody's questions probably got blown over here.
Honestly, man, I don't think anybody else even asked questions. That's the thing.
They were just in on the debate, right?
Yeah, they were just all about that.
He said the mic channeled Bill's emotions. Yo.
Maybe that's what it was.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Mike just took over his whole persona.
I was wondering too, like halfway through that argument, like how stupid do I sound because how dumb my mic is tonight, right now.
Yeah,
like,
I was hoping your mic would be able to come through so that you could be able to put up because I didn't want to seem like I was straight up bullying you through the thing. I was just like you cutting out and then I'm talking. I'm just like, oh man, but it came back. It said, nah, Smitty, he here. That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, so since that debate is over. Does anybody have any other questions that maybe we can debate about up here?
Mark wants to know how many points the Red Dragons defense has given up.
It's the
Mark
best
is all
defense in
about
the league.
making sure he's got the lowest amount of points allowed in the season so far. You know what, man?
He said, Mike said, I'm here for the argument, then I'm out.
This microphone has come through in the clutch for me. He's like, you know what, bro? I got you. Don't worry, man. We're coming back strong.
He was probably tired. I don't know. Your mic was probably like, man, I'm not up for this. But as soon as he felt the energy, he said, no, I'm up now. What's going on? I'm up now. What's up?
You're sitting in the back, sitting on the couch, and all of a sudden something's about to pop off, and you're like, oh, what's this?
He woke up. He said, nah, you ain't about to talk to my man Bill like that.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Okay, what was we doing, man? I got lost. Okay.
We're checking the Red Dragons defense.
Microphone with all the smoke. I'm about to toss your mic some boxing gloves whenever we meet in person. We're gonna throw the hands one day. What was it? AFC side, yeah, defense. Yeah, number one defense here. And they have given up, points given up, 165 points given up. They have not, we can easily see this. They've never given up more than 21 points. And the only team to do that against them was the Celtic Tigers. Since you got, can you go to the NFC side, Bill, and see what?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Just waiting for the game to load. They want us to argue more, Smitty.
I bet. If you got, man, I'm telling you, man, for coaches.
Rob knows how this goes.
Yeah,
Rob,
for coaches.
a.k.a. Mix the Gamer, knows how this goes. This has quite a bit. We got some heat
just
understand.
understand.
We'll call them.
This is why I feel like, man, sometimes, like, some of you coaches, man, this is why you got to respect the coaches in the CU, man. Because sometimes they fight for you guys like this, and they're going to get an argument from me like that the whole time. I'm telling you. They're going to go through hell to fight for you guys for a rule that you guys try to impose. Like this. And if I'm not with it, man, they're going to have to fight me for it. That's just how it goes. Yeah, this is almost a daily thing in the CU. We argue about stuff, but it's one thing I can always say, man. The arguments in the between us and the RFL for sure is positive. Whenever it starts to get off, we don't never get off. We never get off track in terms of arguments where, there's some guys start to get personal with it. Well, I will never let an argument get to that. I'll stop the argument and just make sure everybody's mind's straight before it even gets to that point. And that's how every argument should be. Everyone should agree with a person having a difference in opinion. No matter what you say, that person's not going to believe what you're saying if they don't want to believe. Okay, and it's not good. It's not good to force an opinion on anybody. I know there's some coaches here. I know there's coaches in the CU that disagree with some of the decisions I make. That I make. But guess what? If it comes down to me having to make that decision, if my mind's not changed, then I'm making the decision I think is best for the league. But I will never give or feel any type of way towards Bill, Mix, anybody in the staff for having a difference in opinion. And for coaches who are a part of the RFL, man, that's another thing. Don't feel afraid to come to me and talk about something. You have a different opinion than me that you feel like I won't like. Still bring it up. You never know. I might like it. If I don't like it, then I'm at the end of the day, I'm going to give you the straight up like, nah, we're not going with that. But at the end of the day, though, I'm not going to sit there and bash you for having a difference in opinion. So whenever you got something you want to talk about, feel free to, always come to me or any of the commissioners. That's how we handle business here. So you got the Thunderbirds right now?
Yeah, I got it. What do we need? Defensive points?
Yeah. So how many points is the Thunderbirds giving up?
161.
161. Oh, okay. So they giving up less points than the Red Dragons. That's good. What's up with the yards though?
2,000. Or no, total yards or passing yards, or how do you want it broken down? Total yards?
Just total yards, yes.
3,240.
3,002. Oh. Well, apparently, Thunderbirds have the best defense right now in the league. That was different, though, a week ago, so that must have changed. Well, a couple of weeks ago, so that fluctuates. Did the Thunderbirds play a game? What happened? How did it change so drastically?
I don't think so. No, there's had a bye week this week, so none of the games have been played yet for those two teams.
Well, there you have it. Right now, what's it called? The Thunderbirds got to be the number one defense in the league right now. Then you said 3,200 and something.
Yeah, Smitty, were you looking at the wrong thing here, man?
What do you mean?
What number were you looking at for the Red Dragons?
It says total yards allowed. That's what I'm looking at.
Okay. Yeah, Thunderbirds 3,240.
Okay.
If anybody's wondering, since I have such a horrible defense, I'm at 3,230.
Yeah. Let's go look
Get
at that,
outta
man. The Explorers definitely have a good defense. Let's go put that up on the screen so people can know that's all facts.
Is Moon in the Discord?
I'm not sure.
If so, we're taking Rob. I need you to take 1,000 reload bucks with this guy, right? I'm just kidding. I'm just messing around, Moon.
Where's the okay, there we go. I was just there. Okay, teams statistics. Wow. You have the better defense right now. You're the number 1 defense in the league.
Apparently not. Apparently my defense is
Wow.
Yeah, apparently I'm terrible.
Wow. But yeah, throughout the season, it's always fluctuated between 1, 2, and 3 between the Red Dragons, Explorers, and Thunderbirds. So the Explorers definitely got a top-tier defense in the league.
Yeah. It's too bad my defense sucks, you know?
But any questions?
Now we get to it. He's a fan of the T-Bird. That's where it's coming from. Okay, now I get it. Now I get it. You're just sticking up
he
for
likes
your
the
team
Celtic
'cause they're
Tigers,
rivals.
right?
He says he's a T-Birds fan.
Oh, T-Birds fan. Oh, okay. There's somebody I know that likes the Celtic Tigers.
Now it makes sense with the crazy analogy that my defense sucks.
Yeah, that defense definitely doesn't suck, dude. Not at all. Not at all. Look at Mark saying he's got a fan. You got a lot. As humble as Mark tries to be about his team, he knows he got a lot of fans out there.
Yeah, and then there you go. Now you can. Moon is also the one who said CT was overrated, which really got us started in this whole debate to begin with, aside from the Reload Bowl talk, because I remember mentioning it. So between Moon and I can't remember who asked the initial question. Was it Amir? Yeah, it was it was one of those two guys started that whole debate.
Yeah. So, you see any other questions?
Awesome Crocodile wants to know if all the punters in the RFL are going to be drug tested in the off season.
Yeah, we definitely tried ways to try to fix that, but apparently they still are taking steroids, so they're still going to be able to bomb those 90-yard punts sometimes on some crazy stuff, and it's just simply just the game. You know, there's nothing. I've tried to do sliders to fix it, but you know, those guys aren't going to stop popping the roids, man. It's just, I don't know what's going on. They're just they don't care about the RFL rules. They're just going to, you know what I mean, still going to knock down those bombs down the field, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. So nobody has got any. Bill, why is your defense number 1? That's a complete sort of. I don't know, Darius. I don't know how they got up there. I think I actually talked to the guys at EA and asked if they could just fudge the numbers for me a little bit, so that people could think that's the situation. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah. It's been a very interesting podcast.
It's been a good one. I like sometimes when we just go off on random things, because that sometimes is like the best content. We just go, whether it's a debate or go off on a long topic. Yeah. That's some good stuff.
Do you think that the Elks will sneak in the playoffs? I think they have a chance, and I think they can. You know, it depends on if the Crusaders lose. That game.
I've been toying with this one, you know, because I really don't think that the Crusaders are going to give up that number 1 spot. I don't. But man, if the Elks can sneak in, I think they're a sneaky, dangerous team. They have a chance, obviously. They're right there in the hunt. I just don't know if there's enough games yet, like I said before, to overtake the Crusaders.
And in all honesty, too, I mean, let's look at the schedule here of both teams. So, okay, I'm on the Crusaders right now. So,
appreciate that, Nathan.
Let's go ahead and get a look at
pretty cool.
All right, so here's the Crusaders schedule. So they're going to get an auto win this week. This is a game that the Botch is suspended for, so they won't be there. So they won't have their coach here for this one. And Coach Wizenard, man, we've seen him sometimes put together some pretty fire game plans, man. You know, Wizenard could come in here and win this one, and he's got the home field advantage. So let's just think, you know, the Tigers win this game, that's a loss there. So let's go in order though. So they're 7-5 now. That's 8-5 with this auto win. Let's say they lose to the Tigers. That's
Oh boy.
that's going to be how did I lose where I was at? I said 8-5. Okay, 8-6, right? Then they'll be 9-6, and then they'll finish the season if they lose this 9-7. So this game is very important. But now we have to compare to the Elks, But if they win this game, they're going to go 10-6, and they're going to go into the playoffs. That's for sure. Elks, though.
Hey, Rob just brought up a good point. Be careful which teams you go.
Which team I go?
Yeah, because there's been, we have premier games.
Oh,
not clicking, is it?
Yeah, it's clicking now. But
okay,
I'm on the right.
Heads up, just because sometimes we just go along and yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, this will probably be the last time we do that then. But looking at the Elks now, this is why I say they have a chance. So say for instance the Explorers, no, the Crusaders lose that game, they're going to go 9-7, right? So the Elks, let's look at their schedule. So they're 7-5. This is an auto win, 8-5. I feel like both teams are going to lose to the Explorers. So let's give them a loss here. So he'll be 8-6, and then I feel the Elks can beat the Condors. So that's 9-6, and I do feel like the Elks, especially with home field advantage, have an opportunity to beat the Barons. So if they are able to win these 2 games at the very least, and the Crusaders lose to the Tigers, then the Crusaders are out. But if the Elks lose any of these games in any way, then they're gone. But by that time, at this week, we'll know if the Elks have a chance by week 15 because, like I've shown, the Crusaders, they lose this Tigers game, man, that's it.
Yeah.
So we'll know by week 15.
And then just I seen it in the chat. Nathan Jacob Thomas said it's his birthday today, so happy birthday there, bud.
Happy birthday, my guy. Who said that? Nathan? My guy. I see him showing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, he shows up to the games.
That's a lot of names, man. That's a lot of names.
Nathan Jacob Michael Thomas. Jesus. Is that your whole full name, or those different identities or something?
And then let's see what we got here.
Okay, Mark just brought up a thing. He said, Smitty, Elks are the perfect example of winning with defense. I don't agree with that.
Let's go it again.
Don't agree with that. I do agree that defense has definitely helped them win games, but that's not all the way. Kyle Baines put forth some stuff too. Their offense, you can't discredit their offense just because their defense did great things. That's what I'm saying. So you're going to take away the fact that you won games because solely off your defense. You know what I'm saying? You didn't win games solely off your defense. Your offense had to be there. And that's why I said it's vice versa. Both sides have to be there. If they're not there, then you're going to lose no matter what you have. What if you don't got any good defense and you have only offense? You could, but you can say the same thing. What if you got a good defense and no offense that can't score at all? It's the same thing.
Yeah, we're never going to agree to stop.
We're never going to agree. I'm telling you right now, nothing's going to change my mind on this. I understand y'all's reasoning, definitely, but I completely disagree.
So Nathan Jacob, Michael Tom, all different identities. This guy's like Jason Bourne right now.
Don't tell me you submitted more than one prospect. That's the vibe I'm getting. That's the vibe I'm getting right now, Nathan. Don't let me find out you submitted more than one prospect. And then East Coast Gaming says, agree to disagree. My guy. I don't know if you're saying that to be against me or for me, but either way, I agree.
And then somebody asked, I've never seen before about the AFC teams. Which AFC teams could to
you cut out what you say? Which AFC teams could what?
I'm losing the emotion. Oh no!
Somebody spark up an argument so the mic can get back.
No, somebody asked, AFC teams might be able to sneak in that are in the hunt.
Let's go ahead and get a look at that again. I mean, this is the NFC side. Yeah, there's two. Honestly, I think it's the only teams that have a shot are going to be the Sentinels and Voyageurs to push out the Huskies or the Cougars. But honestly, man, I don't know, man, because they could probably get in there because the Cougars have to play the Huskies twice. They haven't even played each other yet. So if somebody gets swept in that game, in that series, then there's a good chance the Sentinels or the Voyageurs can move in that spot.
Yeah, the Sentinels, Huskies, and flip-flopping for like 4 weeks. So the Sentinels are the win for if they're at one of the 5 or 6 teams or not. But the Voyageurs are really close, especially after the Sentinels.
I'm going to have to say the Explorers suck or something to say because your mic's really cutting out again.
Don't be talking about my Explorers like that.
Come on, Mike. Going to let your boy Bill go like that? Got to step up, man. Let him talk.
Don't let me go down like that. I show all the graphs, right on this.
Look, I think the mic is over it at this point. He's now really just giving up.
I mean, we're going on an hour 45 or something. I can see it.
Yeah, and usually our podcasts are about like 2 hours. So definitely got to get to our open questions earlier due to the fact that we didn't have too many big main topics to cover. So let's see if we got any more questions out there.
Well, it's popular quarterbacks.
You said what? I didn't hear it.
Oh, come on. Quarterbacks.
What about them?
The most popular positions.
The most popular ones?
Most popular submitted players.
Honestly, I mean, I can't really go over that due to the fact that, none of you guys touched the field yet.
Somebody asked which the most popular position was.
Definitely quarterback. Oh,
Yeah,
so you were answering the question. Okay. I thought they were saying, like, who's the most popular quarterback? I'm like, man, nobody's played yet. We don't know. But, yeah, quarterbacks are definitely, and we don't want them to be, because, I mean, it's going to suck, man, because I can tell you guys right now, out of the 25-plus quarterbacks that we have, it's probably going to be 10 guys that will be getting drafted at the quarterback position, and that's me being completely honest, So that's tough.
Look at Amir Williams' question.
So if the Dreadnoughts and the Explorers went to the Reload Bowl, who would win?
You see what he's doing there?
What is he talking about? No, I'm not getting it.
Debate again because your favorite Dreadnoughts and finds the Explorers.
Oh. Yeah, let's hold that.
He just said.
Let's hold that for the mic. I mean, honestly, we might need that debate right now because your mic's still going out.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I mean, if that happened, man, I don't even want to debate that.
I really I see guys saying I need a new mic. Like, I have a very, very good mic. I don't have a messed up mic. I have a Blue Yeti. I don't know what's causing the mic to cut in and out like this. I've rechecked everything on mine. I've put the wires. I even switched out to a different headset, which I just bought 2 months ago. I don't know in this situation here, but I can guarantee you it's not this mic because this thing was very expensive.
It's just got to be a connection issue. That's what I believe. It's definitely a connection issue. Probably through PlayStation. That's probably what it is. Probably through PlayStation because right now we're streaming through the Elgato, but he's talking through a PlayStation party chat. So that's probably what it is. But I don't know any other way to really have these podcasts be as they are without that. I mean, we could do, we could do, like, jump on other things like Google Hangouts, which allows you to share the screen. But honestly, you're not going to have the same graphics that you get here from the Elgato. So it's a good trade-off. But this is the first time we ever had a problem like this occur with that. So hopefully that's something they'll be going next week.
No internet either, man. I pay a hefty price for some pretty good internet. It really isn't my stuff. The problem is,
Bill's all the way out there, and honestly,
don't even go there again. Now you want? I am not in the middle of nowhere. Okay, just
Bill's in the middle of the country, guys.
Does not mean that I live out in the boonies. Okay,
he's got a Walmart literally 3 hours away, man. He's got all his convenience stores are 3 hours away. Say that.
So messed up.
Oh man. Nah, but for real though, I don't know what's going on.
I don't know.
Any questions?
What's the probability of Pioneers versus a little bit happened in the history of the RFL.
That the who?
Just read
Cut
the chat,
out,
man. I
man.
can't do this.
I'm gonna have to. Where'd you see it? Okay, let me see. Pioneers versus Monarchs. Is it Awesome Crocodiles question?
Yeah.
What's the probability that? I mean, there's definitely a chance of that when they get better, but it ain't gonna be no time soon. But you never know. I mean, what if both of those guys most likely are going to land, Geno Gannon and Marquise Washington? Honestly, I feel like the Pioneers are about a consistent quarterback, and a couple of key players away from being a solid team in the future. So Pioneers may not be as bad as you guys think. They are this year. The Monarchs, honestly, I could say almost the same thing, because if Schrader wasn't playing the way he's been playing so far this season, I honestly think they could have probably won some of the games that they played in. What do you think, Bill?
Does it pay for me to try to talk?
Probably not. You're still cutting out. Oh, man. I guess I'll go through the questions, try to figure out what's going on. Okay, this is, if the 6 NFC and AFC playoff teams played, who would win more games? I feel like I don't know why I'm not understanding this. I feel like I should clearly understand by reading this sentence what he's trying to say. But, okay, let me reread this. If the 6 NFC and AFC playoff teams played, who would win more games?
If every NFC team matched up against an NFC team, who would have more?
I'll go with AFC, man. You want to know why? I mean, no, look, not even a Celtic. For one, you guys get beaten on our Pro Bowls every year. And then not only that, you guys talent is definitely there. Y'all have more. Y'all have.
You say you guys like you're not part of this. My gosh,
I am, but I'm putting you guys in there because I'm saying you since you're here with me, and then Cougars, since he asked a question. Both of you guys are NFC teams, right? Part of the NFC conference, yeah. So what's wrong with me saying that? Anyway, but I feel like you guys have a lot more OP teams than the NFC, but the AFC's got more spread out teams of talent. If you get what I'm saying,
I think you're sort of disrespectful to the NFC, some fan. You know, I think you throw.
Well, the AFC was first. It's like nah.
Well, yeah.
It's like that has nothing to do with it though, but yeah, I mean, honestly, let's be honest here, though. I mean,
let's be honest.
Let's be honest here. Do you think the NFC has more spread out base of talent across their teams than the AFC? I don't think so. I'm gonna ask the chat that. Do y'all believe?
No, I don't. All right, I don't believe it. All right, but I do feel that there's a few select teams in the NFC that could stack up against any team in the AFC,
and it's vice versa. But I'm saying if he's talking about the 6 versus 6, let's talk about conference versus conference. Who's got more of the better teams overall? I would say the talent's more spread out in the AFC.
Probably the AFC. Probably.
Yeah. You guys, I do agree, have probably more top teams than the AFC does. And honestly, I don't even think that. I don't think that's all the way true. But let's go look at that. How about we go look at that, man? We've been doing everything. We've been looking at everything. Let's go ahead and look at this.
Has my mic sounded any better?
It sounds like it's pretty all right. It definitely sounds like you're fumbling with it. So you must be trying to work something out.
I'm holding it upside down, trying to maybe a different angle will help me out here.
Okay, let's go ahead and look at these.
I'm grasping at straws.
All right, so I'm probably going to get. All right, write these down then, Bill, if you can. My phone died, so I can't text.
Microphone upside
down. All
down.
right, let me bring up my notes then. I'll bring up my notes. Yeah, you're struggling over there. I got to do something. Okay, so let's put NFC. So I'm typing in my notes right now, guys, and we're going to list.
Don't give away results, Smitty.
All right, so this is the argument we're going to look at. Okay, let's look at the elite.
You're in right now.
Let's see who the elite teams are. You said what?
Out of the screens.
I'm out of the screens?
Back out the screen.
I don't get what you're saying, bro.
The standings page.
Oh, snap. Okay.
I even remember you.
So where am I going to check the teams, man? So hold up. Where else am I going to check the teams at then?
You're gonna have to off the top of your dome.
No, we can check it here. Oh no, the X Factor's going to bring up all the NFL teams.
Dude,
Okay, let's do
Justin
the roster.
is so
then.
upset, right? He said "bra" and "bro." Both of those.
Jesus. Well, see,
Yeah.
it wouldn't have been.
He used
You guys made
two
it a hot
different
topic
acronyms.
though. you guys are the one who put it out there. So, dang. But anyway, let's just assume that didn't happen.
I
Okay,
don't
so
know what's Mike, but I felt like that was a good thing to do at the time, and it did.
okay, let's yeah, because I was trying to figure out what's going on. You was cutting out, and then he was like, I'm like, oh, what's going on? What's going on?
I was trying to do the weird thing, like when you're with somebody somewhere else, you're like, stop doing that, knock it. I was trying to do that, but I'm in a microphone. That's
That
not gonna
sounded
take it.
extremely weird while it was cutting out. I was like, oh, what is going on? Are you good over there, Bill? Like, what's going on?
Oh,
Anyway, let's go. Let's go look at. All right, let's get down to this part where we're looking at who the elite teams. I'm talking about elite top tier teams are in the league in terms of conferences. Honestly, I feel like there's only 2 elite teams in the NFC:
What are those teams that you
Thunderbirds and Explorers.
put there? Oh,
That's that. Look, Barons are a good team, not elite. Condors not elite. Crusaders not elite. Desperados not
the
elite.
last few weeks
Elks.
and this season wouldn't put the Snowhawks up there.
You said who?
Or maybe the Snowhawks.
We're
Or maybe
talking
the
about,
Marshalls?
but we're talking about right now. Like we're talking about right now. I'm not talking about
okay,
history.
okay.
I'm not. We already know about the history, but I'm talking about right now, which could carry on for future seasons. You know what I'm saying? So let's look at who's the elite teams right now. Okay, we got you and the Explorers and the Thunderbirds. Okay, look at this. Gunners, they're not elite anymore. Lancers are becoming an elite team. I could throw them up there. So the Lancers are. I still need to see what they do in the playoffs. They win some playoff stuff, they'll be elite. But just in case for you guys' sake, okay, let's throw the Lancers up there as an elite team. That's 3 teams right now. The Marshals, they're a good team, very good team, but I don't think they're elite. Yeah, those are the 3 teams that I think are elite in the NFC. Okay, so honestly, let's go look at the AFC and compare who's got the most elite teams. Okay, and it sucks I gotta go through the depth chart to do this. Okay, so elite teams. Well, we already know the Celtic Tigers is definitely one, but let's go to the top. Armadillos, no. Aviators, no. Bisons, no. Black Knights, no. Bulldogs, no. Bulls, I would say are an elite team. The Celtic Tigers are 1. That's 2 right there. Cougars, I wouldn't throw them up there. They're very good. Same deal like with the other team that we talked about. Dreadnoughts, right now, I would probably say they're an elite team right now, but I guess you can hold them out. But we can throw the Huskies up there. They're still technically an elite team.
Is
Red Dragons. So it's still cutting out. Honestly, looking at this, man, even the AFC has more elite teams than the NFC. And it's got the more spread out talent. So AFC is, in my opinion, the better conference.
Let me tell you, my mic wasn't being so. I would argue with you, right?
Let me go ahead. Okay, what would be? Oh, let me look in the chat. Let me go argue with the chat real fast. How about we do that? Because I see some guys talking about the Bulls. Tell me how the Bulls are not an elite team. Okay, we already know the situation. They didn't win a playoff game. They did. We know that. We know they didn't win. But you can't say that the Bulls are not an elite team when they were the top team in the entire league last season, right?
Who said they
No,
were?
not last season. They were the top AFC team, and then they are 11-1 right now. So they're actually going to win more games than they won last season if they win 2 more games. So they're an elite team. I seen somebody was talking about the Bulls. It says Bulls are elite team.
Anybody they were.
Oh, I thought FFL was saying like the Bulls weren't elite. I was like, oh, hold up, man. Not gonna say that. Okay, so then we got Frankie saying, okay, Marshals aren't elite. Yeah. No, Frankie. I'm reading Frankie. I'm not wrong about this one. He says, "Oof, Marshals aren't elite with a hella question marks." That's Marshals are not elite at this point. I don't think they've made the playoffs a couple of times and stuff, but I still don't consider them elite. You know what I'm saying? I think they're up there close. Like, there's a couple of teams that's up there close, but Marshalls aren't an elite team in my opinion. Justin's saying they are elite. I don't feel they're elite. Yeah, I do feel they'll lose their last 2 games still, most likely, yeah. But still, the Bulls are an elite team.
Good question.
What do you say?
He said, how are the Dreads not elite and the Cougars aren't?
Well,
Ooh,
the way I'm looking at it is this. The Cougars, for one, aren't elite, for one, because they might not even make the playoffs this year. We already know they're a really good team, but I'm looking at consistency and the performance this year. That's what I'm looking at. The granted, though, that the Cougars did lose to nothing but elite teams, but that goes to show, like, a little bit of the argument, the fact that, they just weren't able to beat those elite teams. So I say they're very close, but, I'm looking at a team that I feel will be able to get wins and possibly make it to the Reload Bowl, if you get what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the way I'm looking at it.
But you can't like the consistency thing with the Dreadnoughts either. Last year they were horrible.
Well, yeah, last year they weren't good. So so technically, the way I'm looking at it, I'm looking at this season, yeah, but I'm looking at last season. I'm not looking at anything before last season. I'm still looking at how they performed last season and how they are now. So that's why that's why I was saying I wouldn't put the Lancers as technically an elite team in the RFL right now. You get what I'm saying? It's definitely a lot of ways you could go about this, but for the way I'm looking at the league, I don't think the Lancers are an elite team in the league. They're an elite team this season, but they are not an elite team. I'm looking at elite teams in the league. You get what I'm saying? Cougars.
Rob is so heavy with you to show his schedule right now.
Yeah, I'll show the schedule, but like I said, we can look at this, but what did the Cougars do? Like, even last season, they made it to the AFC Championship game, but, like, man, if you look at their schedule and stuff that season. Well, where am I looking? Do you guys want to do the schedule thing? Did you play a game over? Oh, let me get past that. I'm not trying to expose no scores, man.
Yeah, don't do that. Who would hate to have that happen?
Oh, did it again. Yo, what am I doing?
Dude, what's wrong with you right now?
Man, okay, where am I going here? Because my brain's all over the place right now. So, okay, Cougars.
So is my mic.
Yeah. Okay, so we got the Red Dragons. They lost 2 in a close defensive game here.
Oh, come on now. Who gave us a thumbs down on our podcast? What's wrong with you people? Come on.
Well, they don't got it now. I see it's off. I think that was when we were debating at first. We're good. Seeing it. I don't even worry about that, to be honest. But
I don't really either, but I wanted to say
yeah.
I just wanted to test my mic sound.
Yeah, the Celtic Tigers, yeah, that's an elite team right there. And the Bulls, that's an elite team too, and they lost to them. If you look at the teams, what elite teams did they beat? They didn't beat any elite teams yet. Where you would see, this is where the challenge really is right here, man. Huskies, Bulls, Huskies. What are the Cougars going to do these last 3 games? This right here is, but still, if you look at it, the Cougars still lost 3 games too. To elite teams. So, if they can sweep these guys on these last 3 games, though, that is, that's a big deal. And they would get elite status, in my opinion, if they succeed also in the postseason. That's what I say. If they can sweep them and succeed to an extent, at least get to the AFC Championship game again, then I would consider the Cougars to be an elite team. And I also look at, we're looking at the roster now. These rosters are going to change next year, So a lot of things are going to change. I'm looking at the guys who I know are going to stay on these teams for next year. There's a couple of teams that I didn't even put in elite status or around there because they just aren't going to have the same roster next year. And they're going to have to figure out how to work with that. So,
yeah, it's going to be interesting, but I don't know, man. My opinion, I think that if we're talking the Dreads in the elite category, I think we have to put the Cougars
honestly,
in the elite category.
but that's why I said I said they're elite this season. That's what I was trying to say. But to be honest, they're not an elite team in the RFL. They're not. Dreadnoughts are not an elite team in the RFL. But if you look at the elite teams in the league in general, like I said, there's more elite teams in general in the RFL in the AFC conference than there is in the NFC conference. The only elite teams I can say in the NFC side, like I said, are the Thunderbirds and Explorers. That's pretty much it, man. And he says, I would say Dreadnoughts most improved. Yeah, they definitely improved also. But the AFC's got more spread out talent, and they have more elite teams. So that's a better conference, I would say. And they beat y'all 3 years straight in the Pro Bowl. So
would we really put hold on, here's my thing. Would we really put Dreadnoughts as most improved? I don't feel like they were a horrible team from last year. I feel like underperformed.
I feel like the Dreadnoughts? Yeah, the Dreadnoughts were definitely an underperforming team last year. They shouldn't even have been
the most improved. They should have never even been that bad. So
honestly, now that I think about that, though,
yeah,
the most improved team I would have to say this season is, like Justin said, the Steamers. But I might have to get that to the Lancers, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I think
it's between the Steamers and Lancers to me.
I would give it to the Steamers just because of the fact that 2 seasons ago they didn't win an RFL game, and the Lancers, while they haven't been the best, they at least I remember I don't think.
Well, they've always been middle of the pack. They've never had an elite season. So
yeah, but been always middle of the pack. They've never been bottom of the. Steamers were just ago. So in my opinion, I'd give it to the Steamers over there.
Yeah, I would give it. And with that being said, yeah, I'd give it to the Steamers, man, because for one, the work. Honestly, man, Justin. There was only a few guys who got grandfathered in to be coaches, man, younger than 18, and that was early in the season. And I said, look, I'm not ever letting any more coaches younger than you guys get in. It's only 2 guys, and I believe that was Mitch at the time. He's of age now, but Justin's still underage. But this guy definitely got to give it to Justin what he's done over there with the Steamers. I mean, this is the most improved team, and the way he even went about it. He didn't go out there trading house. He didn't go out there, doing other things that could have hurt his team. He built his team up from the ground up through the draft and through finding talent in areas that he felt from free agencies that can help improve his team. I mean, and so that's why I feel like Justin, man, that team is definitely the most improved, and you look at it that way because I mean, he brought them from the ground up. To be honest, they were terrible, and that's an elite team. Growing up to be an elite team in the future, and not to mention all those guys are young, dude. Like let's be honest here. If you look back at the prior seasons of the Steamers before Justin got there, the Steamers were a pretty good team. I would say their first season and season 2. Season 3, they were coached by somebody, and he didn't do a pretty good job there.
Somebody that will remain nameless.
We're just not even gonna put names out there on guys. Just don't even want to give them any clout. But he pretty much dismantled that team. Justin was there, rebuilt that team up in his image, and he's got a lot of young guys there, man. Those guys are really. He's going to be an elite team by next year. You already see him being one of the elites so far this year. Next year, he's definitely going to be a solid team. The year after that, he might be up there as like relocation bowl type guy, So that's me just having to throw like giving respect where it's due, man. Like honestly, and I would do that for any coach that I see that's put in work like that, But just the fact that Justin, as young as he is, and it definitely comes down to how invested you are in this. That's the most important. The most important thing, because when you actually invest into this league and you're a staff member, it becomes a lot more than you just playing a video game. Because I mean, the steps that we're about to make soon is going to be, you're going to wish you was a part of it. For the guys who are a part of it, who are taking advantage of it now, there's going to come a time where you guys are going to get drawn out, and it's going to be very soon. That's for sure. But for the guys who actually stay invested in work, I mean, it becomes the most fun experience that you could be a part of. And I know that Justin's having a great time. He's been here since like day one. He's been here since, I believe, what season did you first come in and watch the RFL, Justin? I believe it was season 2, but I think he was here season 1 to look back at the videos before season 2 start. But Justin has been here to watch this league from the ground up. You know, we're still at ground level, but we're still building up. But, I mean, Justin has been fully committed. And that's a big reason on why he's on the CU staff. And I don't want to talk a lot, you know, I don't mean to ramble and everything, but I definitely got to give that man respect for what he's done for this league.
Season 2 Pro Bowl.
Season 2 Pro Bowl. Yeah, but ever since then, he's always been a part of the RFL, always been invested in the league. Always, I mean, he worked his way up to be able to be the youngest coach that we have on the staff and the most successful coach at his age ever. You know, so he's definitely going to be a guy, you know, he's going to be around for a minute. His team's going to be elite for a minute. And I just wanted to go ahead and get that respect where it was due, man.
You know, and one thing I just wanted to add, because we had, can you hear me all right now?
Yes.
Cutting in and out? Okay. Just to show awesome this, like, how complex and awesome this whole league is, man. Like, I've said this a lot, but, like, I have never had heated debates or arguments about like the kind of things I talk about, except when I've talked about like the NFL. Like this thing is so deep and so complex, and there's so much teams and coaches and players you can get. This is crazy how crazy complex and intricate and immersive this league is, man. Just wanted to say that because I was thinking about it, like, man, we really are crazy. We've had them before on the podcast, but I don't want this for anything else, man. This is crazy.
Yeah, and I wish the mic was clear enough to. Hopefully, they got that message what you're saying, but yeah, that I definitely, and I'm glad that's always been the goal since day one, since I started this league, because I used to do this all the time, and I wanted to spread this, and so that other people can enjoy it with me, and we can build this up to where what it's becoming now. And you know, I'm glad to have my coaches with me. Going to bring on some more guys, and yeah, man, I'm telling you, once you get fully invested in this thing, man, I'm telling you, it's like one of the best experiences you'll ever have, man. Especially if you're in. You're in as a coach, man. You want to make sure you stay in, because I mean, next year is going to be something crazy. We're working on some big things, man. I'm telling you.
Yes.
You'll see what's going to be coming when the relocation bowl gets here alone. But like up until then,
wait.
I'm telling you, the RFL is going to be something ridiculous next year.
Yeah. Oh man, there's much good stuff.
Yeah. I mean, you guys aren't going to believe what we're going to be doing, man. That I'm just going to leave that excitement for you guys.
Yeah. There is big things on the horizon in the RFL that you can bookmark it. You can clip this audio. Like there's big things coming to this league in the next, man.
Oh yeah, and see, Darius Hodge says great job on the website, by the way,
yeah,
man. Big shout out to C Beazle, man, for that.
Yes,
C Beazle deserves a lot of credit too, because he does a lot of our graphic design work, and he just came up on the staff working, man. And man, gotta give that dude a big shout out, man. He's just awesome dude. Got to talk to him for the first time yesterday in a verbal Discord chat with Bill and Rob, and man, awesome dude, man. Glad to have him on the staff, but definitely a big shout out to him for designing for redesigning the logo, and there's a lot more coming in that future that I was talking about that he has helped us with. So big shout out to him. Honestly, how long has this thing been going? Has it been 2 hours already?
It's like 9:45 on my watch, so it's 10:45 by you.
Wow. And we did start this on time. Okay. Yeah, so this is definitely ran over 2 hours. Usually we stop at 2 hours or less.
Yeah.
So, Jesus. I'm going to go ahead and end this thing. It was great debate, man. I really enjoyed this podcast. I enjoyed the interaction from you guys in the chat, man. Let's keep doing this every week. And let's do this in the games too, man. How about bringing this, let's bring this same energies in the live games. I know I can't communicate to you guys like that, but I definitely always try my best if there's interaction in the chat to try to read what I can, to talk with you guys. And you guys can communicate amongst each other too, and just amp up the intensity of the game. And not only that, it's just it brings a lot of more enjoyment when you guys are all there to watch the game and it's getting commentated overall. And we see the interaction of you guys just talking amongst each other and just overall enjoying the game, man. Great experience.
And as long as it stays clean, man, I'm in the chats watching the games. I'm not always talking, but through and try your shot with Bill the Bully with the debates. Bring them on, boys.
Yeah, and oh yeah, last thing, we are working on that, Darius Hodge. He said all playoff games should have dual commentary. We are absolutely working on that, and we are going to need certain guys' help. And you all, most of you guys, we need you to step up for this, so that way we can literally make the entire playoffs have dual commentary with me and Rob. That's going to be lit if we could get it to happen. But of course, we do need some help. Pretty much we'll be going to, I might as well say it, but for guys on this stream so they can go back to is, we're going to pick certain guys. We'll have the money, so you don't have to worry about the money, okay? We will pay you guys the money to put forth towards the Discord, to boost the Discord, okay? And we need you to do that because we're going to be streaming through the Discord, and we want to make sure we got crystal clear commentary for you guys for the month. You only got to do it for that month, and it's going to be with our money. And at the end of the day, if you steal the money, dude, like, bro, to us, it's $5 we're only sending out to each person. Like, all you're going to do is just get kicked out of the league for nothing, just for $5. So you don't want to be that guy. But we're going to send you guys the money to boost it. So pretty much it's like us boosting the Discord ourselves, but you guys have to use it to boost it individually for us. And it'll do it for us for that month. And so if it does it for us for the month of June, then we'll be able to do the dual commentary, man. So make sure you guys we'll contact the guys who we're going to trust with that. Okay, so yeah, that's the plan. But all right, man, definitely been on here a minute, man. Got to close it out. It's your boy Smitty and Bill here with the weekly podcast, man. Enjoying these. It's going to continue to go on. I think we're going to have these every Wednesday for the entire RFL every year, man. For college series, whatever. But that's going to be it for us, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.